Good morning. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Before we get started, if you would, let me kind of read through our role as a board and then kind of the order of the meeting today. We'll keep it as relaxed as we can, but we do have to have some order here to get through it, appropriately. We are the 2025 Board of Equalization and Review for Union County. We have been appointed by the county commissioners to hear any and all taxpayers with respects to concerns/complaints regarding the valuation of their property for tax purposes. Property owners appearing before the Board of Equalization and Review have the right to a fair and equitable hearing. The Board of Equalization and Review has been charged with ensuring that the proper legal principles have been applied in a valuation dispute for tax purposes. So the format of the meeting when we get started, before you come up, the county staff will locate the property on the monitor so we can all be looking at the same thing. In our notebooks that we're looking at, you've got the same information, up there. And we've got a full agenda this morning. So we ask you go ahead and present your information at that time. Try to keep it to about 15 minutes. In about 13 minutes, you're going to get a 2-minute warning from the clerk, okay? And just depending where we are, a little shorter, a little over is fine. But after you present your information, members of the board will have a chance to ask questions of you. Then you'll have a seat. The county will do the same. They will present their information, and members of the board will have the chance to ask questions of the county. A lot of times it's hard not to speak up when you're sitting down. After the county presents their information, I will give you a final chance to make any comments, okay? Any questions that you have need to be directed to me as chairman. After we hear all the cases today, we'll go into the deliberation phase of the hearing. You're welcome to stay. We don't take any comments during that time. If you're here and we have a question, we may ask it, but we'll also give the county a chance to respond as well. Typically, after we finish today, you'll be notified by the county within about 30 days of the board's decision. By statute, the burden of proof is on the taxpayer to demonstrate that the assessment, is erroneous. Please keep in mind, if you're presenting any sales data today, that sales data needs to be at 1/1/25 or prior to. It cannot be after 1/1/25. We cannot look at it because that's the effective date of the property reevaluation. Any questions? I know this is a lot of information. If there are none, if you could just make sure your cell phones are silenced, and we will go ahead and get started.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
We are going to start with hearing number 3 this morning. This is for a property key number 06117073. The taxpayers are Scott and Erica Rao.
Locate this for you. If you'll look right here, if you can see my cursor, but this is Matthews Weddington Road at Tilly Morris here at the roundabout at Union Day School. And if you'll come out Tilly Morris, you're going to cross into Mecklenburg County, come up Rocking Chair Road, and make a right on Butter Churn. This parcel is split by the Mecklenburg and Union County line. It actually runs through the property.
Okay. Interesting.
And unfortunately, with this layer, I can't display where that line's at, but it is in your packet from our GIS. Matter of fact, it's page 19 if you want to see where the county line runs.
19.
Kind of runs right through almost the very back of the house.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Mr. Rao, just trying to get a look at.
All right.
That, okay?
Hopefully I won't need 15 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you, Board, for letting me exercise my right as an American. I appreciate that very much in here. It's pretty simple. I'm just going to tell you a story. Like if you all owned a property and you've been living there for some time, or you just bought it new, and you get this reevaluation in the mail. Say you're paying $3,000 for your annual property tax. And all of a sudden, you get something in the mail that says you're now paying $35,000. That's exactly what happened to this property. I mean, I'm going from a valuation of, what, $4,800 to $58,400. That's an increase of 1,116%. Like, even if you all want to say it's a mistake, I mean, that's a pretty big mistake. You know, I'm just saying, if you take that and think of it, your own property, and you're paying $3,000 a year, and now all of a sudden you got to pay $35,000 a year, you probably have to move, you know?
I don't think that's right, but go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Just wanted you to know.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I
Okay.
just didn't want to, you know.
That's fine, okay.
okay. I mean, you can tell me where I'm wrong in my math, I'm curious. I mean, because I think that argument alone is literally, I mean, I have a comparable property.
Are we
It's-
on tab number 1? No.
We're on tab 3,
Oh, 3.
yeah.
Sorry, sir.
Oh, that's okay. No, I want to make sure.
So tab 3,
Right.
is that a valuation of $58,000?
Right, yeah.
Right.
I'm on the right one now?
Right,
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
got it.
And I've lived there since 2001, so it's gone up incrementally, right? I think the last one I have on my record is like maybe $1,900 back in like 2005 or 6 or something, so it's gone up. Actually, it actually went down in 2021 from 5,500 to 4,800. The property is, again, it's unique, right? But you see on the back of the property, Duke Power. I'm landlocked on both sides by other property owners in Union County. And then Mecklenburg sits on the road access. So even when I bought the property, you know, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get the benefits of Union County, get to choose schools. Well, I haven't gotten any benefits of the Union County. When my kids were finally old enough to go to school, they told me, no, we're not allowed to go to Union County schools. Even though I have property in Union County, my house sits in Mecklenburg. Somebody told us, and I still don't know if it's right, because we ended up homeschooling anyways, but that it's where your mailbox sits. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
just what somebody told me. So, again, really no benefits, you know, and I think 4,800 is a fair evaluation. I mean, if they want to bump it up a little bit, so be it, you know. But not 1,116%. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, if you need other evaluations, I mean, I know that Greg sent me some stuff that said, you know, well, there's the land valued is $230,000 per acre in my area. But these aren't comparable, you know. Sure, if I had an acre of land or even a half an acre in land that has road access where you can get it, but this is landlocked. Nobody's building up here. There's no access to it. So that's not a comparable value. It says the neighboring lot values located in solely Mecklenburg County were assessed at $115,000. Again, that's all in Mecklenburg County, and you're comparing my property to a property that is accessible to a road and you can build on it. This is, again, not that type of property, you know. So I even have my brother-in-law lives 2 miles from me, all in Union County. He has a property. It is, I did bring the information if you needed to, just as another, again, argument. He lives off of Forest Lawn. He has a house that sits on basically an acre. He has a vacant acre next to him where part of his septic tank is on there, right? He was paying $87,000. The value of the property was $87,000, excuse me. And then he was newly assessed to $143,000, which you could almost say is reasonable. I almost could take that kind of increase with my property. But he wrote to the board and said, listen, the septic tank's on there, my neighbor's is even on there, it's not a buildable site. Even though it's .92 acres, all in Union County and road access, and he had it reevaluated down to 35.8 from 143. Again, that is much more comparable to something like my property than comparing it to, again, an acre in Mecklenburg or an acre in Union County that has road access and is buildable.
Okay. Let me see if members of the board have any questions for you, Mr.
Please.
Rao. Mr. O'Keefe.
Gotta wait for the county.
Okay. Jimmy?
Yeah, I may have a question, but I want for the county first.
Mr. Ashcraft?
So I understand, since I started off wrong, so you're looking at half the property is in Union County, is that correct?
Yeah, there's
I mean-
more in Mecklenburg, but close to half, yeah.
Okay, well, whatever it is, it's about, what, half acre of land?
It's .25, I think it says.
0.25,
Yeah,
okay. And is there a building on it or anything?
no, mm-mm.
Okay,
Well, my shed,
you're what?
my shed, you can see my shed in the picture, yeah.
Oh, all right, I'm good.
Okay. Mr. Rao, if you don't mind, if you would have a seat, and we'll let the county present their information. And like I said before, I'll circle back to you for any final comments, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So on this parcel, it is, like you say, it is unique because this neighborhood's primarily all in Mecklenburg County. And part of their lots run across into Union County. And so what we did is we took a look at it. We used our rural acreage rates to develop these values. And this parcel, I've got it, him listed plus or minus .52 acres, so right in, a little over half an acre. And to make a fair evaluation, I look at, Mecklenburg County did their reevaluation in 2023. And they have 58,000, they have, 51,800 on the portion of the parcel in Mecklenburg County. So what I did is I was looking at the rural land rates we had in addition to that, and that creates a total value for this parcel. If you combine the Mecklenburg and Union County values together, the total value of that land, that .52 acres, is $110,200. And so what I did is I looked across the street at these houses that are in the same neighborhood. And they are priced lot value. The lot value on those lots are $115,000 for the lot. 3022 Butter Churn is .476 acres at $115,000. 3014 Butter Churn is .499 acres at $115,000. 3002 Butter Churn is .476 acres at $115,000. And like I say, so I felt like we were good on our value because even combined, what we have combined with Mecklenburg, he's still coming in under a total lot value across the street in the same neighborhood.
Okay. Questions, Mr. Benson?
$53,600 is a lot. That's a huge disparity. At one time. I'm just having a hard time just looking at the basic disparity of it. So you go from paying what the homeowner indicated that they were paying, and even in their opinion today, they're rolling it in at 48. How did this go? I guess we would have to say, where was it off to go from such a huge thing? There's something going on here, just from a math perspective.
I can speak for our current reevaluation. I think historically, they've been very undervalued and weren't looked at as a whole. And I think we've corrected that this time, and it is a big increase. But I think it's accurate now, and I think historically it's been significantly undervalued.
So there's been failures in the past to properly value the property.
That's my belief, yes.
But it's, I guess it's kind of punitive for the homeowner from having just 1 year you in 4 digits and now you in the 5 digits. You know, that's a huge jump. Is there not some kind of gauging way to make this not so heavy? Or is this it? This is just like ripping, I happen to have a Band-Aid on. This is just like ripping the Band-Aid off kind of thing here?
I think it makes it equitable with other communities, the other properties in the neighborhood.
All right, thank you.
Mr. O'Keefe?
It makes it equitable to the other properties in the neighborhood. So if we were to look at the properties up and down the street, across the street, we sort of land somewhere here. When you combine Mecklenburg and Union, and the combination of the two puts it in line.
Right.
Generally speaking,
If we would have come in higher, I would have reduced it to make it
Got it.
equal, you know, the lots across the street. But
you feel you're coming in under.
we're still coming in under where the other properties that don't have this imaginary line running through their yard were.
Was there feedback? I mean, was anybody else equally stunned here, if you will?
We actually have 3 BER appeals on this. One's scheduled for a later date.
Got it.
That one, you know, we were able to lower it slightly just because, you know, the acreage, but it's still going to be equal to $115,000.
Thank you.
Mr. Ashcraft?
So we'll just say the properties next to it, down the road of it, that's, I assume, half-acre lots that are in Union County. But then in those acres right there, or those lots that go down that road, does it include part of the house? Because you might have a lot that's an acre, and the house could be further back, which is more than you can. I don't know how it's done,
Right.
and I certainly understand that makes it more complicated.
Yeah. I think,
Go
with
ahead.
exception of maybe one house in that whole development, all the homes are in Mecklenburg County. It is primarily,
But that's, I'm asking you just in general like that. So they are mostly, it's mostly land.
yeah.
Okay, so if it's mostly land, either half acre, a third of an acre that's in the back portion on Union County side with these properties, right?
Right.
Did you use the same values that you did on this property? Meaning a half acre was 50,000, so a third, fourth acre down the road, you know, how did you?
Well, yeah, originally, yes, we used the rural acreage rates, because this is a neighborhood, but the neighborhood's all in Mecklenburg County, so we don't have sales, so it makes it a little unique.
Oh, yeah. I don't mean sales, I just meant how you're valuing it.
Mhm.
And the last time it was valued at 4,500 or 4,800,
Yeah.
what year was that? Was that in 21?
That was a 21.
And at that time, you weren't here and no one else was around.
I did not work on the land valuation.
Making a decision to, how do you cut that acre? Is that correct?
Right, I'm sorry, I can't speak to how that was done in 21.
Okay. Did the house have any, I mean, this little barn or whatever, does it have a value on it?
No,
Y'all didn't put a value on it?
we do not have it listed, no.
Okay.
And it's based on size-wise, it's probably a shed at no value.
But there are other lots that are backed up to Union County that y'all put a value on. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes,
And
matter of
then-
fact, if I can zoom out. The county line runs kind of through here. So it starts with this property right here, the 003A,
Yep.
and it comes through all the way pretty much through these properties here,
Okay,
it gets pretty much the whole neighborhood, because like I say, you are entering the neighborhood in Mecklenburg County, and pretty much all the houses are in Mecklenburg County. And we're just kind of filling in that, completing that lot value for the portion that is in Union County.
well, it's certainly unique, and all those lots are involved in it. I would certainly like to be able to know that, how you handle each one, and if they're treated equally or not. That'd be-
Yes, that, like I say, it was, using our rural acreage rates, and like I say, and that's what we used on this one, and it come in lower than what the lot prices were. If it would've come in higher, I would have looked at it and lowered it to make it equal to the lot value.
Okay, so just curiosity for me, across the street, it's all in Union County?
Across the street, they're all in Mecklenburg County.
Well, I'm thinking behind.
Oh,
So we're
behind,
gonna go to the right on the screen,
yeah,
so.
these on Climbing Rose,
Yeah, those right there, how much are those lots?
these lots, these right here are under a power line, so they do have,
Yeah.
but their lots are $176,250 per lot.
Okay.
And that's all in,
And that, the ones right behind them, yes, they're 176,250. With the influence, without the influence, it would have been 235,000 a lot.
Okay. It's just
Good.
unique, all right.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rao, any final comments you'd like to make?
Yes, please, yeah. First, if you could, again.
Come, step up to the mic.
Oh,
so-
thank you. Again, consider, and thank you, Mr. Britton. I mean, that's a big thing. And I feel like our neighborhood, to some extent, because I talk to my neighbors, and some of them are fighting it, some are not. And I think the reason is because, to some extent, we're taking a little bit of advantage of as our neighborhood because of this, because, okay, say our taxes, because the figures are low, instead of me paying $40, I'm gonna pay $400. It's not that big, as my example earlier, but it is the same. So people are like, whatever, but I'm like, I'm kind of getting sick of that. Like, you know, like if everybody does that, if my cable bill goes from $50 to $500 and everybody takes advantage of me like that, then where are we, you know? So, and I don't think this rule of acreage really applies, and I think it is a unique property, and there are several. It's not just a handful, there's several. In fact, my niece lives in the back of our neighborhood. The property's all in Union County, believe it or not. So it is a unique neighborhood, and I understand that, and I just ask the board to take this on in a unique way and see that, holy cow, like, and I know he kept saying it's 0.5, but here's my Union County tax bill, and the acreage says 0.253, so I'm a little bit confused on that,
So
too.
yours says what?
It says 0.253 on my Union County tax bill.
Because I picked that
From
up.
last year,
When he
so.
said, yeah,
Yeah, when I'm talking about a .5, that's total counting Mecklenburg and Union combined.
total, okay.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're kind of split.
Okay.
So it's a half acre for the total lot,
Half acre for the total lot,
okay?
about a quarter, roughly a quarter in Union, and roughly a quarter in.
Yeah, I didn't want you guys to be confused and think it's a half acre in Union. It's actually just a quarter acre in Union. And again, understand, this is not comparable to a Union County property that has road access, is buildable. This is landlocked by properties and Duke Power. And so I think that pretty much addresses,
Yeah. One final question I have for you. I mean,
please.
if the house wasn't there and you were going to sell that lot as a whole, what would you think it was worth?
Good point.
If the house was, and sell that lot as a whole.
As a whole,
Yeah,
what would you think it's worth?
because you'd be able to.
Well, that's a hypothetical that I haven't even.
Right. I didn't know if
I've
you'd
lived
given
there
that
for
any
20
thought.
The big argument is my first argument. I've lived there for 21 years. It has slowly increased, which is proper.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you go 1,000% increase. And you can't just say, oh, sorry, we made a mistake. You know? I mean, again, I'm saying if you guys were paying $3,000 for your property tax and somebody said, sorry, we made a mistake, you're going to pay $35,000, you'd be like, honey, we're moving.
Yeah. I got you. Okay. Well, thank you very much,
Yeah,
Mr.
you're
Rao.
welcome.
Okay, thank
Mr.
you.
Chairman,
Excuse me.
Mr. Can I ask a question?
You can. Mr. Benchin has a question, Mr. Rao.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry, no, I didn't know till you.
No, please.
My question is, would this increase cause you to move?
Oh, no, I can't move. I got two kids in college. I mean, yeah, I can't move. I mean,
Okay.
And I want to piggyback off the chairman's question, because his question puts the property in perspective, because your case presented to us is predicated on you feeling as though the increase is too much. But if somehow you were to turn around and sell said property,
right.
at that point, you would seek the highest value to gain, which at that point would line more in line with what the county's perspective would be of that community.
Okay.
And I bring that up because we may be in a situation here, at least from my perspective, and I'm one voice of the board, but we can't have it almost two ways. We can't on one hand say it's not worth that much, but if it's sold, then it will be worth that and or more than where the county has landed. So I just want to make sure that we're being fair to you, fair to the county. So I'm just kind of giving you some of where my thinking is along this line.
Sure.
So again, to the chairman's question, what value would you seek if you were to sell the property?
Yeah, I think he said he wasn't really sure.
I
You
mean,
know.
the thing is, you compare.
I knew that, Mr.
Did,
Chairman. I was just
okay.
kind of
Yeah,
circling
no,
back
I-
around to try to fish out an
Yeah.
answer for you.
And I hear you, and the thing is when you sit down with your wife or something, you look at property values, like, you're looking at your house, including, so you're saying, if I were to tear down my house, what would that land be worth? That's really hard for me hypothetically to kind of even remotely answer that question. Again, this is a piece of property that is not, again, we're looking at just the Union County piece of it, and I understand you're trying to couple it to my Mecklenburg County, but again, it's landlocked, nobody can access it, and when I compare it to my brother-in-law's, which I'm happy to leave with you all, he's got one that's actually, and he's like, Dan's like, don't throw me under the bus, guy, but I mean, his property is almost an acre in Union County, beautiful, piece of land that's not buildable, 0.92 acres. It went from 87 to 147. He just stated his case on the evaluation, like, listen, this is not buildable. And his went down to 35,000. You're going to tell me that Dan's property, an acre of beautiful land without all these trees or anything, that he mows mine's worth $20,000 or almost double what his is? I mean, again, I'm happy to leave that so you can use it as a comparison, but that just doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
to me.
Mr. Ashcraft has a question too.
My question is this, is as long as you look at your property as a half acre and a quarter of it is in Union County and a quarter of it's in Mecklenburg County, right?
Right.
And you got the house on the Mecklenburg County.
Yes.
And you got your reevaluation in '23, right?
Right.
And whatever the land value was $58,000, right? Okay, you agree with that, you know that part, right? So
Okay.
the back portion is what went up, and the reason it went up is the county realized that I didn't do it, so I'm just guessing.
No.
How we're talking about it, is that they realized that that's really a $62,000 lot, so if you sell that house, the land value itself is worth more than that, and the county has been not getting their fair share of the half because makes a whole lot for you to say.
No, I understand your
And so
argument, for sure.
why I'm saying that is, instead of being angry that it's been down to 4,500 for the last however many years, 10 years, 20, since you've lived there 20-some years, and being upset that it's gone up, it's just the fact that the county is catching up to what's really valuable there. So, in that time period, I think, you might should feel kind of lucky, because I don't know how much Mecklenburg County was charging for their quarter of the acre, right?
Yeah, and I don't see that on my, now, I just saw that my
Yeah.
property value went from like, whatever, 300 to
Okay.
454, so I don't know what they're charging me for just the
Got it.
land. I mean, maybe I could probably investigate that and look it up. but-
Yeah. Well, that's something that I just wanted you to know. That
Okay.
Okay.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rao.
Yeah, thank you,
Okay.
Board.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any final comments from the county? Okay, good. Madam Clerk?
All right, we will move on to hearing number 4. This is for property key number 08051012. The taxpayers are John and Joy Yak, and they are present.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so we are located off, this is New Salem Road North.
Mm-hmm.
You turn right on Lawyers Road. This property is going to be located on your left.
Yeah, good. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we've got that name pronounced right,
Jasek. It
Jason.
gets obliterated
Okay.
often, so
Yeah, okay.
no worries.
Okay.
We think it is.
Okay.
It should be, which most,
J was a Y
Yeah.
usually.
Right.
yeah.
Thought-
Jasek might be more
Classic, is
close,
that
yeah.
right?
Okay.
No? So I missed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all it works.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and let you present your information to the board if you would.
Sure. I think what we wanted to try and focus on, I understand the reappraisal and everything. I could get into other arguments about how we feel the county has gone about getting to where they are, but I think what we want to focus on really for our property is just maybe some of the things that weren't taken into consideration for the appraisal. It was just by coincidence that we had went to the bank and had acquired a loan to do some improvements, in which we got a report, an appraisal, actual certified appraisal, which should be in your packet, though it was dated 1/29.
29.
So after your 1/1 date, but that was just by coincidence, but the value at that point was $495 in comparison to your $587. What we don't feel that the county has properly looked at are the factors of easements on the property. Most recently, Union County Public Works took the front of our property, destroyed the tree line across the front of our property.
Cannot be built back.
Yeah, we cannot put trees back in the front of our property, which was, privacy screening for a new water main. If you can't see it quite in this picture, but all the property behind us, all those woods and extending out now has been purchased by Union County Public Works and is now home for a water treatment plant. So I don't think any of that's been taken into consideration. We have a Union Power easement all the way down the bordering side with the neighborhood there that we share the property line with. They come on our property every year and cut down all of our shrubs, bushes, trees, and whatnot, so that we're exposed to our neighbors as well, so we have no privacy there.
We also cannot fence line or anything because that property is taken. You have to be, within the easement, right? So property there is unusable.
Yeah. And then there's actually a power line that runs right across the middle of the property, so there's easement for that runs across as well. So all those factors we take into consideration, and I don't know that the county has properly looked at that as well when doing their evaluation.
We now have a big concrete vent
yeah.
in the front of our property, which was not disclosed by Union Water.
If you look just to the left of the driveway, now there's a massive concrete structure that sits out to the front of the property. So as part of that Union County water main extension.
I know they also argued that it didn't matter, but it is a modular. If you go to purchase a home and you have a single-family stick-built versus a
Need to kind of make
modular,
sure you get to the mic too, kind of a little closer maybe. There you go.
it's a modular home, so
Right.
I know the argument was it doesn't matter, but I know if you go purchase a home, the value of a home, of a stick-built versus a modular, there is a difference. So there's that as well.
Okay.
And then it just, in raw numbers, from the last assessment done in 2024, 60% increase to what you're proposing now. That's pretty substantial in one bump.
I do think what we countered is fair.
Yeah.
I still don't think if we were to sell it is worth that. And I know tax value and market value are different. But the 587, I think, is very unreasonable of a figure.
Okay. Let me see if members of the board have any questions, and then we continue the conversation. Mr. O'Keefe?
I'll
Yeah.
work with the county. Thank you.
Mr. Benson?
County.
Yeah. Mr. Ashcraft?
Do y'all, are you on water and, I mean,
We're on
do
county
y'all have
water,
a septic tank?
septic.
So this happened, y'all are still on your septic tank? So you're
Correct.
not using that?
The line they just put
Is
in
water,
will
not-
not benefit us at all.
Yep.
Okay, so it's just water. Were you paid for it, or did they just take it over?
No, they paid
For the
a sum of
easement.
$10,000, and that also included us having to put up new fencing for our animals and whatnot.
Okay, so you were paid for that. What about your power? Are you getting it from that easement, or, you know, the easement thing on the right?
Yeah,
That's where you get your power from?
correct.
We get it from the front.
From the
that
front, but that
all the
runs,
way.
yeah, the easement runs all the way down the blue line, it turns into the green
For all
line, it
these
keeps
other
going.
houses down there?
Yeah, it feeds all those other houses as well. Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
And what's that in the back of the property?
Storage barn.
Storage barn? And do you know of any land like to the left of you or across from you that is sold in the last 2 years? I mean, I know your appraisal was.
I don't
Our
believe in
neigh-
2 years.
Not in 2 years, no, the neighbors sold that house at least 5 years ago, I think, yeah.
Okay. Do you know of any land listed close to you that's?
Just what we provided in that, that was comps in that appraisal report that was provided.
Just then? Okay.
I don't know
Yeah.
what Union
From January.
paid for we weren't notified that Union was buying all the property behind us, so I don't know what they paid for that or when they purchased it.
Okay. All right. I don't have any questions.
That kind of gets to the question I had. The property that Union County Public Works purchased is the property behind you, the wooded property. And that's where is it a water treatment plant?
Yes, that's the water treatment plant, and then the front of the property is the actual water main that
Main,
they
right.
used to connect
Yeah.
that and extend it down Lawyers Road.
That's the way I followed it. I just kind of
Yeah.
wanted to make sure. Do you
The
know
new-
how, any word on when construction is going to start?
They already
It's
did.
already done.
It's already done.
Oh, you ought to see it, yeah.
Okay. So we can't see it in this picture.
You can pull it up.
Can you see here?
Yeah.
Well,
No, you
the
can't.
county may have to do that, so,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
If you look at page 28 in the booklet, you'll see a bunch of pictures. The 20 is tiny, so you have to find 27.
27.
No, he's talking about the big.
Yeah,
There's the water treatment plant.
there it is. That really helps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've seen it.
That was not released to us either, that was being built.
Okay. That's what I needed to know.
How long has that been there?
Year or
2 years? Yeah, they built the plant, and then just recently, Mr. Chairman, is where they, see this line through here?
Yeah.
That's where they took
Oh,
the
okay.
extension line out and down.
The new line does not benefit us and never will.
Correct.
Right, okay.
Okay.
That's what I need to know. If you don't mind, have a seat, and I'll let the county present their information, and then I'll circle back to you with any final comments.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Mr. Marshall has this one, okay?
So we originally came up with a value of 587. After the initial appeal, we ran the sales analysis and were able to lower it to 566. I did use the appraisal, the sales that were eligible to be used. I think the appraisal has 3 sales. I used 2 of the 3 in our sales analysis. So I was able to use those. The comps that were used were within 5 miles of the subject property and similar in size as far as acreage goes, and similar quality and grade.
Questions for the county, Mr. Ashcraft, do you have any questions?
What page is the comp zone that the county used?
45 is the first page of the analysis. The actual comps are 46 and 47.
Now, these comps that you got, that you have here, I can. Okay, they were in 24, 24, 24, is that correct? 23 is one on Balkan Road.
Correct.
The other 2,
We're both 24. So we've got 4 comps from 24 and 1 comp from 23.
okay, and then the following page, you have a couple more, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so would you say that sale was done before after the plant was there? You said 2 years on the plant, I'd assume that's,
Yeah, if the plant's been there for 2 years, that obviously the 24 sales would have happened. And I would assume with 23, the construction would have already started.
okay. I don't have any more questions right now.
Mr. Minchin?
How many other properties in this area were affected by this, you know?
The water line?
Yeah, and the
Well, if you
water
go-
line is where, and the treatment plant was there. So
Yeah,
what-
as far as the water line goes, you can see, I'll kind of scroll down. Runs parallel to Lawyers Road all the way down. So it was a large number of parcels that were affected.
And were there, during this reappraisal, were there a lot of the citizenry in that area, did they protest this or send in their own values that
This
you
is
all
the-
worked out?
Yeah, this is the first one I've had on this particular water line. I'm sure there probably are others. You know, the county, we haven't discounted any of the parcels for this line, you know, to be equitable. So that's kind of why we're here, to see if you guys determine if we should discount this particular parcel because of that.
Because they got this big treatment plant, water treatment plant that's built in their backyard, but not able to utilize it. It doesn't affect their property, it's not connected to their property. What, you know, you would think if you're that close, there would be some kind of connectivity, right?
I'm unaware of specifics there. I know, you know, if they're on a septic system, I'm not aware of the logistics of connecting it into the plant.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. O'Keefe?
Mr. Chairman, what about allowing for the difference between stick-built and modular? Does that have an impact, or?
Typically, we do not see a difference in sales price between modular and regular stick-built on-site. In fact, some would argue that modular are of higher quality because they're built in a regulated temperature setting, no moisture, and then they're assembled on-site. So we do not price the two any different.
Thank you.
Only question I have, and I know we couldn't use their appraisal since it was after 1/1 of '25, but I imagine, did you have an opportunity to look at it, even though I knew you couldn't use it? I was just curious if they had comps in there.
I did, and I used 2 of the 3 comps.
Okay, and you might have spoke to that. So
Yeah, in
2
my
of the 3
analysis.
comps are in here.
Right.
And then, I don't know, I reckon where I'm hung up a little bit, kind of along the line with some of the other board members, is the influence that that water treatment plant has. And then we're looking at comps, and that's just the closest that's available, I know, but they're 2 and 4 miles away.
Right.
So they don't have the influence of the septic, of the water treatment plant.
Correct.
And that's just kind of where I am with it, okay? I mean, just, it looks like the comps are good, and they're fairly close, but they're not close to that water treatment plant.
Right.
You know,
Correct.
so-
Yeah, we get to a point where there's only so much I can do.
Right,
And then
right.
we
That's
present
exactly-
it to you guys and let
Right,
you.
okay. Thank you very much.
Sure
Mr.
thing.
Martin, did I come to you? Do you have any questions?
No, I think I'm good. I just know we have other treatment plants out in Union County, is that correct? In certain other areas?
Correct, yeah. I actually live near one.
Okay, and you don't see a big drastic change in property values around it?
No.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Martin. Okay.
But, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'll piggyback off that question, but is your property benefiting from that water treatment plant that you're near?
Yes,
Okay,
it is.
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Sure. Mr. Jasek, Ms. Jasek, any final comment you'd like to make? Looks like he said no, but you said yes, right?
I'm gonna leave before y'all decide because I'll get emotional.
Okay,
I just want to say one thing about the modular. You can poll, you can ask anybody, if you go to buy a house, there is a difference. Now, are the modulars built in a controlled environment? Yes, they are. They're built to withstand being able to transport, but the quality and the value is not there. If you look at anything, part of the pieces that are put together in the house, from the windows to the other things. The other thing too is I understand you guys have thousands, I don't know how many homes you had to assess. But if you went out and looked at it, your attitude and your ideas would totally change. So
I got you
the
on that.
value is not there.
I got you on that point. I did have one other question that's unrelated to what you're speaking to. The back portion of your property, did you say that you're limited with the use of it?
The right-hand side, we cannot fence within so far of where that power line is, so we
So
have
from-
lost 20 feet.
Yeah.
On the whole right side, we've lost up front where we cannot plant or anything like that. It's just, it's getting to the point where we're getting pushed out like so many others feel. We
Yeah, I
don't know
kind of
where to
get
go
the
from
front
here.
portion. You were compensated a little bit for that, but I was a little more hung up on that back portion.
Compensation, though, does not fix it.
I know,
You know what
I
I mean?
know. But you've lost some use of the back portion because of the treatment plant that's behind you.
No,
Oh,
not
no.
because of the treatment, the power lines.
Power
We
line,
have lost
okay,
that.
okay.
The treatment plant is the effect on it.
Right,
And,
okay.
and again, when you scrolled in, you saw where they've built so far. We don't know what's coming down the road either.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the bigger impact. This whole piece here, you know, obviously they bought all of this property, no doubt to expand, extend, and so forth. So
Yep.
they have every right to do so.
Well, thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, okay? Any final comments from the county since we're good there? Okay, Madam Clerk?
All right, we will move to hearing number 8. This is for property key number 08219002I. This is for Patricia and Jimmy Hatley, and they are present.
Okay, this property is going to be located, this is 601 North Concord Highway. Turn left on 218, and the property is located off 218 on Berry Moss Road.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Hatley.
Good morning. Berry Mullis Road is a 15-foot driveway. It's a gravel driveway. And it's about a half a mile long. And the people that live on it have to maintain it. I checked with state back last fall to see if they could maintain it. But in order to maintain it, some of the yards are so close to the house, they wouldn't have a 20-foot right-of-way on each side, so the state wouldn't take it over. Unless we could get it up to state specifications on our own, that means us paying for everything. And we're landlocked too. We're at the end of the road, back behind other houses and property. And our appraised value this year was $388,800, and the estimated value is $172,700. We had to even buy a right-of-way across the other property to get to our property. That's how landlocked ours was. We had to buy about 20 foot or maybe 50 foot of roadway to get onto our property across the other property. And when my two sons got a little older and wanted to move out on their own, I got 10.22 acres there. And I was going to deed each one of them a couple of acres. And Union County said I couldn't do that because we have a modular home. I could only let one of them have some land. And how do you tell two sons, only one of you's going to get part of this? So neither one of them's got anything. And I've even tried to get a cell tower put out there so I could have a little extra income because we're on Social Security. And they said the only way they could do it is if I had a paved road into it, a 2-lane paved road. Our gravel driveway is only 15 foot. And so they couldn't do anything. So I checked with solar power. They were always talking about, oh, they're looking for places to put solar farms in. I said, well, I could put it on 8 acres out there. They said the same thing. We got to have a paved highway into it, 2 lanes.
Yeah.
So I can do nothing but raise a couple cows on my place. And
Okay.
We cannot even run water.
Speak to the, if you could step up to the mic a little bit, thank you.
We cannot have water run in. We're on a well.
Right,
We can't have county water run in because it's going to cross over private property.
right, okay. Okay,
So the resale on this is not as great as what I think they're estimating it is.
right. Any additional comments you have before I see if,
well, one other one, we've even tried to get like fiber optic internet, and because they gotta come across somebody else's property, we can't
You
do
get to-
that.
Oh, man.
We can't, we have to use Wi-Fi's and
Satellite.
satellite to get in, and we got so many trees right around our house, we can't even get good reception on that or a TV.
okay. Got you. Let me see if members of the board have questions for you.
Okay.
Mr. Ashcraft?
So, how long have you been there?
40 years.
40 years? And have you ever had an appraisal done on the house and the property?
No,
Okay. So you really don't know what it's worth, do you?
no.
Okay. I don't have any questions.
Okay. Mr. Benson?
I want to make sure I got that statement right. You said that you were denied both your sons being able to share in some acreage because your home was modular?
Yeah, they said on 10 acres, you couldn't divide it up and have two other homes, stick-built homes or modulars on it. You could only have one modular and one other home on it.
You said the county,
Yeah.
who in the county?
Well, my son he went and had some land staked off and then went to see, about getting the permits and stuff to put a house out there.
So it was the permit people?
Well, I'm not really sure who he
Okay.
talked to. I didn't go with him, but they said only one other dwelling place could be on that patch of
Because
land.
the original home was modular.
Mhm.
Ma'am?
When we purchased the property, we had to purchase over 10 acres to put a modular there.
Because we had 10 acres, and they said, well, you can't put a modular on it, you've only got 10 acres. So we had to go back and talk to the guy, and he sold us a little bit more, just enough so that we could put a modular home on it.
Now, that was back, what, 40 years,
Yeah.
40-something years ago, so I'm
Okay.
sure things
Yeah.
have changed since then.
Okay. How long ago was it you tried to share the property with your sons?
That's been almost 20 years.
Have you heard of that, Mr. Chairman?
Have not, we can probably
Is
get some
that-
clarification
is
from the
it-
county on some of that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Well, no, I can't dismiss you, that's the chairman.
No, hold- yeah.
I was just saying
Mr.
thank you for
O'Keefe.
my question.
Yeah. Mr.
How are you getting in and out? I can't really look at that. How are you getting in and out now?
We've got
Where's your driveway going?
Can you zoom in on it?
You're going by,
We come down Barry Mullis Road.
oh, Barry Mullis, okay,
Yeah.
so you're coming down to property line.
All right, show us how you get in
Gotcha.
there. Oh,
Okay, right there where it says Barry Mullis.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where we come off of Barry Mullis Road and come down our driveway to here.
Thank you.
And then it goes back to here. And our driveway is almost a quarter of a mile long that we have to keep up too, along with the Barry Mullis part of the driveway.
Thank you.
But connected to Barry Mullis Road is a.
Yeah, need for you,
deeded-
yeah.
Connected to Barry Mullis is a deeded right-of-way. Where
Right up.
our land doesn't go all the way up to Barry Mullis. There's a
Right.
deeded, we purchased a deeded right-of-way so we could get in and out.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Ashcraft?
Y'all are on septic
Yes,
and you have wells.
yes.
Did you, when y'all, well, it's 40 years ago or whatever, was there ever an issue on perking the lot?
I had a time getting them to come out and perk it. The guy said that the property would not perk.
That might be part of the reason why they said you could probably only put another house on it, because it doesn't perk, but I
Well,
don't know.
That proved wrong, because we went round and round and round about that. I'd get off from work and go out there and wait on him, and he wouldn't show up, wouldn't call and tell me he wasn't coming.
But you got it to perk, because you got the,
Got it. The guy that was putting the septic tank in said, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. I'll go down there and take care of
there
it.
you
I come home the next day and he was putting the septic tank in. He said, it's okay.
Yeah.
In 40 years, we've had no problem with it.
Right.
go.
Okay.
All right, thank you for.
Thank you very much. If you would, we'll let you have a seat, and we'll let the county present their information to us.
Okay, so this particular property, it sits on 10.22 acres, like he was saying. Our original evaluation was 388.8, and at initial appeal, after we ran the sales analysis, which you'll find on page 18, we left it at 388.8. Sales analysis data indicated a value of 411,700. And I also ran a land analysis on page 21 to give you a view of land sales in their area and kind of where they fell based on size.
Okay. Questions for the county, Mr. O'Keefe, you have any?
Not right now, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Benson?
The answer that was given about the modular home, would that have been the issue, the perking?
I don't know. I'm unaware of zoning restrictions in various townships of the county. It very well could be. Back then, zoning's constantly changing, but I'm not aware of restrictions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Ashcraft?
Okay, on your comps, on top number 2, it's 965 feet from the property,
Yes,
subject property.
yes.
And does it look like a stick-built or mobile unit? It's a little picture for me, I can remember them. but-
Yeah, that would either be modular or stick-built. We wouldn't have,
For sure.
yeah, we wouldn't have compared mobile homes with anything else.
Okay. It's just, I was just wondering if it's similar to.
It looks, yeah.
It looks to be similar.
Huh?
Yeah, it looks to be similar from what I can
Yeah.
tell. Yeah.
All right, and even, well, there's 113, next page, comp number 4 looks kind of the same too, so I'm just using that. I don't have any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Marshall.
Sure.
Mr. and Ms. Hatley, any final comments you're welcome to make?
We brought a neighbor with us. She wants to say something. Is that okay?
I'm a neighbor. and
Well,
I have
hold
protect-
on just a
My
minute.
name is Kay Simmons, and I'm a neighbor.
Hold on just a second. Is that allowed, really, Madam Clerk?
Are you just wanting to make a statement? What are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a statement about some of the things that have transpired here.
Okay.
Because I live down that Barry Mullis Road.
Okay, you're welcome to make a statement, but it's not going to make any kind of play into the decisions that are made here today,
Okay,
if that's okay.
that's fine.
Right.
Fairview kind of controls that area. And Fairview told us that you can only put so many houses down Barry Mullis Road, which is not really much. So he may have run into a problem with Fairview.
Right. I was kind of thinking Unionville, Fairview is,
Yeah.
but yeah, where that, yeah.
But that's part of the problem.
Right.
And I agree with him. We're landlocked. There ought to be an adjustment for landlocked property. It is not as valuable as property that has a main road.
Yeah. Okay.
So there.
Okay, thank you. With that, I think we're ready for the next.
We will move on to hearing number 9. This will be for property key number 07087007. The taxpayer is going to be Descharme McMillan and Associates, Inc., and they have an agent here by the name of Gavin Gray.
Okay, so we're moving to second notebook.
Yes, this will be Book 2, tab number 1.
We're moving Hubble.
Okay.
All right, this is industrial property located on the end of Radiator Road off Old Monroe Road. It's about a half mile north of the Sun Valley Commons. And that's the Harris Teeter Distribution Center that's directly behind it at the railroad.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Morning, Mr. Gray.
Good morning.
Yeah.
I believe our evidence starts on page 16 of the report that you guys have.
16, page 16. All right.
Yes, sir. Well, again, good morning. My name is Gavin Gray. I'm here today with DMA, or Descharme McMillan and Associates. We're appearing here today on behalf of Selwyn Property Group. The property we'll be taking a look at is located at 600 Radiator Road in Indian Trail, North Carolina. If you turn to page 18, you can find the location and an overall aerial photo of the property. On the bottom of page 3, looking at the photo, the smaller building on the north side of the picture is a newer manufacturing warehouse, and the building on the south side, closest to the bottom of the page, is an older manufacturing warehouse. Both of these properties sit on the same parcel, and so we took a look at them individually, which I'll get to in a minute. We do have some more additional pictures, closer pictures of each of the warehouses on page 4 for you guys to take a look at. And then on page 5, we have a description as well as the assessment details between 20.
When you
Excuse me,
say-
now, when you mention page
Five,
4
4
and
and
5.
Oh, I'm sorry, 19
Okay.
and 20, sorry.
Okay.
I have a different one in mind.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry.
I thought that's, yeah, okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate that. So on page 5, we do have a description of the property. This property contains 2 mixed-use warehouse facilities owned by Selwyn Property Group. The site sits on approximately 63 acres. According to county records, the first warehouse, the larger warehouse, was constructed in 1969 and contains approximately 232,000 square feet. The second warehouse that is newer and was built in 1989 contains just over 100,000 square feet. The primary construction of this facility is masonry, and these buildings would not be considered one economic unit, as Selwyn Property Group could potentially sell them individually if desired. So further down on page 5, you'll see the assessment details between 2024 and 2025. In 2024, the total value of the parcel was around $8.5 million, and in 2025 saw around an 89% increase to $16.2 million. We do feel like this overall increase is a very substantial amount at about $7.5 million. And we assume that Union County made these increases to the entire industrial property sector as just a broad increase. But these properties aren't the new industrial distribution grade warehouse properties that we see that are increasing as time goes on in terms of value. If you turn to page 21, you'll find some information on our approach to value these properties. We looked at sales, and you can find our first set of sales on page 7. This table is,
The numbers, the
sorry,
numbers.
22.
22?
Yes, sir, page 22. This table contains 14 sales. We were focused on trying to find a value for the older, larger building on the property. So you'll find 14 sales, 3 that occurred in 2024, 4 that occurred in 2023, and 4 listings. We focused on the Charlotte metro area, since it's likely that a potential buyer of a similar property would look at the entire Charlotte metro as a whole to try to find a place to invest in. You'll find properties that are very similar in terms of year built. Our average year built was slightly newer than the subject, coming in at 1978. Our size was pretty spot on at just under 230,000 square feet. And the overall average price per square foot of these 14 sales was about $36.50. We did adjust for the timing of the sale, ceiling heights, because this property has ceiling heights ranging from about 18 to 25 feet, which would be lower for what we see than a typical warehouse that is built new today. So we made adjustments for the ceiling height, the size of the properties, and also the age of the properties. And so after making these adjustments, the adjusted price per square foot came out to just under $36. We removed 2022 sales just to see how big of an impact newer sales had on the value, and concluded on a price per square foot of $35.5 for this older, larger warehouse. We do have some pictures for you guys to take a look at on pages 23 and 24. You'll see that there are some properties that may be considered inferior and also superior to the subject. The property in Lincolnton is very comparable. Clover, South Carolina, Hickory, North Carolina, and we even think that Statesville and the property in Maiden, North Carolina are all pretty similar in terms of characteristics to the subject. On page 25, you'll find some more sales. This sales approach focuses on the newer warehouse that was built in 1989 and is around 100,000 square feet. Again, there's 14 sales here as well. We have 4 that occurred in 2024, 4 that occurred in 2023, and 2 listings. We were slightly older in terms of year built, the average year built for these sales, but we also made up for that with an adjustment that you'll see later. We were a little larger in terms of the average size for these 14 sales, but we felt like that was still a good indication of what this property could potentially sell for. So the average price per square foot of these 14 sales came out to a pretty similar value what we saw with the older warehouse of around $34.50 per square foot. We made similar adjustments for the timing of the sales, ceiling heights, the size of the properties, the age of the properties, and the adjusted price per square foot of these 14 sales came out to slightly higher at about $36.72. We also, again, removed 2022 sales, just looking at strictly 2024 and 2023, and concluded on a price per square foot of $37. And so if you multiplied that by the subject square footage, that would give you an indicated value of about $3.7 million. And we did the same thing for the older warehouse as well. Similar to the last set of sales, on page 26 and 27, you'll find some aerial photos. Again, we feel like these properties are very comparable to the subject. The location in Newton, Conover again, Hickory, very similar, Statesville, even more similar. But again, we understand that these properties aren't perfect comparables, but that's why we included as many as we possibly could in the Charlotte Metro. If you turn to page 28, we did include some information on why we feel the cost approach isn't the right approach to value this property. And that basically comes down to the economic and functional obsolescence that are associated with this property. In terms of economic obsolescence, we've seen that there are a huge oversupply of these older, large manufacturing warehouse properties, and that really, that excess surplus and the small demand for these older warehouses is really driving down the sales price just across the United States as a whole. In terms of functional obsolescence, it's pretty clear that if this facility was rebuilt in 2025, the design would be much more efficient. The property was built in multiple sections over the years. The ceiling heights are very low for what we're seeing for industrial warehouse facilities today. And so just that obsolescence alone, we feel would depreciate the value substantially. On page 29, you can see our value summary. For the older building, based on the sales that we could find in the Charlotte metro area, the indicated market value comes out to about $8.26 million, or $35.50 a square foot. And for the newer building, again, looking at sales in the Charlotte metro area, the indicated value came out to be $3.7 million, or a price per square foot of $37. And so all we did was combine these two indicated values based on sales, and that came out to a total market indicated value of just south of $12 million, or $36 a square foot. Starting on page 30 and continuing on to the back of the report are all of our sales comparables detailed. You'll find that they're sectioned out between the older warehouse and also the newer warehouse as well. And our POA, our power of attorney, is located at the back of the report.
Okay. Thank you very much, and good information here. Let me see if any questions from the board. Mr. O'Keefe? Yeah, Mr. Benson?
I second your opinion of the presentation, Mr. Chairman. The,
I can come back to you.
yeah,
I'll come back to you. Mr. Ashcraft?
Okay, so the Sullivan Property Group bought the subject property for $7,575,000. This occurred in September of 20.
Yes, sir. They bought it for, I believe it's 7.5 million. Yes, sir.
Okay. And it's 232,000 square feet, roughly?
That is the approximate square foot for one of the buildings on the property. Approximately, the total square footage is about 332,000 square feet.
Okay, because you have another 100.
Yes, sir.
And it's on 63 acres of land.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't have any questions. Y'all didn't do it, did they do any improvements from 20 to 25?
I believe the county listed that there were improvements made, but just looking at the PRC, we cannot make that assumption. There was
Okay,
no
so you don't-
information that we could find.
Okay. Well, all right, I don't have any questions.
Piggybacking on what you were asking, Mr. Ashcraft, and you may have mentioned this, and I may just be completely overlooking it, but on the size of the parcel, I just kind of noticed when you look at the older building, there's no acreage assigned to it, but on the newer building, there's like 14 acres assigned to it, so I'm trying to figure out about the 50-acre difference.
I guess the county will have to do all that.
Yes, sir. I'm not exactly sure where that number came from, to be honest.
Yeah, you see what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir, I
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. I'm not even sure that was supposed to be included, to be honest.
Okay. Mr. Benson, I told you I'd come back to you.
no, I think between y'all two, I feel,
Okay. Mr. Gray, I appreciate it. If you would, you could have a seat, and we'll let the county present their information, and I'll circle back to you for any final comments, okay?
Yes, sir, I appreciate it.
Okay,
Appreciate you guys hearing what I have to say.
all right. Mr. Hunter,
Good morning, everyone.
good morning.
good morning.
I think we have a pretty good description of the improvements on the site. It sits on a total of 63 acres that we're looking at. Our appraisal was done as a whole, not pieces, one building to, it's done from a cost approach. But we're looking at it, from a valuation, we're looking at sales. And when we did that, we tried to pull sales that were similar size, over 300,000 square feet. We did not use 150,000 square foot comps. I think what's important to point out is on page 17. We want to understand, what we have. Straight from the appellant's text, it says, "This report is provided for informational and real estate assessment review purposes only. DMA is a state and local tax consulting firm, not an appraisal firm. Its employees are not engaged in the practice of appraisal. The report and any work product is not represented as and should not be construed as a real estate report." So just so we're clear about this. And so they've pulled comps and they've done everything that they need to, but just so that we're totally clear on that, I'd like to bring that first and foremost. We've got several things that occurred here. In the sale in 2020 you had mentioned, that was a sale leaseback. Radiator Specialties was in distress and they needed cash. So they sold out to the current owner as sale leaseback. Then the property, they defaulted. They were leasing it back, they defaulted. This property, the large building with over 200,000 square feet, was vacant at the time of the last reappraisal. That's why you've got, and they submitted an appraisal
and it's in your packet. Page 94, I believe, yeah. In 94, they had an MAI appraisal done for First Carolina Bank. And there were two values that they had, and this is as of February of 2020. And so they said the market value as is with a large tenant not placed in one of these buildings, that value would have been $8,540,000. So that's what we lowered it in 21. So that's why you're going to see it was an unusual circumstance. We had about 12 million on it, and we lowered it based on this because, you know, we try to be fair about things. If they don't have a tenant in there, it's going to be difficult to sell property that large with no tenant. So that is the reason that we've gone from one end of the scale to the other now. So it really more like if it had been a typical property, it would have gone from about 12 million to 16 million. So if you would look down about the middle there, where I have highlighted, he also, the MAI appraiser also came up with a value that if a tenant was in place in that 200,000 square feet, and he assumed that it would take several years, 3 years to get it leased up. As of 23, he says it would have been $14,980,000. Well, it just so happens that he underestimated our market strength because he did this in 20, and in 2021, Corson leased that building, 227,000 square feet of it, almost the entire building. So it actually was 2 years in advance of what the appraiser had said. So what we're looking at is since all that has transpired, the smaller building has an aerospace company in it called Icon, and they have done about $1 million worth of improvements. And I've got the that's on page, starting on 101. Those are copies of the permits themselves. It's multiples. They've done everything from a new roof to wiring to they've totally renovated the offices. I've been in that building. I have not been in the larger building, but I was in there for that renovation. So the property has been improved since that appraisal. The appraisal was saying that as of 23, it had been $14,980,000. So now we got another $1 million worth of improvements that were not in place at the time of that appraisal. Okay? Now, if you take those numbers, so he's saying that even as of it happened in 21, but even if you take the numbers as of 23, and then you just add 4 or 5% appreciation, we're up to about 17.9 is where we would be. So our value that we have it at is $16,233,200, which is on the 334,000 square feet, that's $48.59 a square foot. So I did not stop there. I said, okay, you know, they presented comps, and I'll get to those in a minute. But I pulled my own comps, and I tried to find things that say, okay, we're looking at it as a whole. We appraise it as a whole. So we're looking at 63 acres and 300,000 square feet. So on page 106, at the beginning of the sales that I located, that are all mostly North Carolina, a few in South Carolina. And the analytics on those are on page 108. So there were 10 sales, and they were for similar age and size buildings, $10 million low to $22 million were the sales that I found. If you look up where I have highlighted, the typical median dollar per square foot for properties that size, $57 a square foot, we're at $48.59 a square foot. The average sale price
was 16.4 million, we're at 16.2. So I felt like we have a pretty good appraisal on this property. I also went back and looked at some of the sales that they had presented, and I really didn't entertain the smaller ones that, we're 300,000 square feet, and, they're anywhere from 89,000 to 160,000 on that first set of comps that they had. Plus there were some listings, and we're not going to use listings because that's current, but if you go to page 51 of the appellant, it's in our packet, but it's the appellant's comps, and there's like a summary. And like I say, the first three of those I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to because of their size. They're half the size. But if you look at, say, comps 4, it was only rented for $3.50 a square foot. So that's why it's selling for $4.9 million. We were not providing any type of lease information on this property, so we don't know what it is, but based on what I've seen on plenty of sales and other appraisals I've been given, it's going to rent for a lot more than $3.50 a square foot. Comp number 5, it was 5% leased at the time of sale, so that's why it would sell for $7.3 million and not $14 or $15 million. Comp number 6, 38% occupied. Another reason, it sold for $11,250,000. Comp number 7 was actually a pretty good comp, and it sold for $14.6 million, $47 a square foot. So I like that one. I just had issue with the other comps. Acreage-wise, comp number 8 only had 30 acres. That's half the land that we've got. So based on a prior MAI appraisal and the improvements that were done and the sales that I pulled, I really did not see a reason that I could justify a reduction on this property.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Questions, Mr. Benson?
Another good presentation, the Battle Royale.
Yeah, okay. Mr. O'Keefe?
Thank you.
Mr. Ashcraft?
Yes, sir, no question.
Only question I had, that appraisal, the MAI appraisal from Fred Beck and Associates,
Mhm.
was that from a prior appeal, or?
Yes, that's for
Okay.
2021.
And you might have said that, I just didn't.
Yes,
I was-
in fact, I think y'all heard that.
Okay,
That
yeah.
was
Okay,
back in the day, that's what we came to terms with. it.
right, okay. And you may have spoke to that, I might have been just flipping through some pages and missed something, so, thank you, Mr. Hunter. Mr. Gray, any final comments?
Yes, sir. So I did kind of want to touch on the MAI appraisal that was conducted. If you look at the construction date, it was constructed in February 12th of 2020. And so if anyone knows anything about 2020, that would be COVID.
Yeah.
And so what happened during COVID, there was a boom of e-commerce, and all of a sudden these warehouse properties, cap rates, dumped. I believe for Union County, the cap rate in 2020, it was 6.5%. And if you actually turn to page 100, you will see the different approaches they used to value this property. The first one being DCF, the second one being direct capitalization that was highlighted, and the third being a sales comparison approach. The DCF, or disregard the DCF, the direct capitalization requires a cap rate. And so what we've seen over the past 5 years is that cap rates have skyrocketed for older properties. Because during COVID, this boom of e-commerce, all of a sudden everyone's throwing up these huge industrial grade distribution warehouses that are 500,000 square feet, 35-foot ceiling heights. I mean, they're the distribution grade warehouses of the future. They're not anything comparable to this property that is clear heights of 18 to 21 feet. I mean, that's almost that's a lot of storage that you're losing just based on the height of the property. But going back to my point about the cap rates is my guess is during this appraisal, they used the cap rates from 2020 to kind of outlook, what the future value of the property would be. I don't think that they potentially saw the market that we have today during 2020. When I checked last night, I believe the Union County cap rate for this property, according to CoStar, was closer to about 8%. So that's a huge difference in terms of the fair market value, just based off cap rates alone. And just to touch on the sales comparison approach, that kind of is what we're saying is, as of 2023, they predicted the value to be 15 million based off sales. And that is lower than the current assessment, and these properties do not appreciate in value. They go down. I mean, this one of the buildings was built more than 50 years ago. The second building was built almost 30 years ago. These properties are not appreciating in value. You can do all the improvements you want, but the sticks and stones of the building were built in 1989 or 1969. If anything, it disregards the older sections of the warehouse that weren't touched, because you would walk in and see, oh, well, this side's nice, but that side isn't, so I'm definitely not going to use that side. It kind of just takes away from the overall value of the property if you only improve one of them, if that makes sense. And so I also wanted to kind of touch on the sales that they used. They did have different search parameters that they used, but just taking a look at the locations of the properties, starting on page 106, we really focused on the Charlotte metro. That's why we also broke it up into two properties, is because of the potential for them to sell one of them without selling the other. And so we really made it an emphasis to focus on the Charlotte metro area, because that's what a potential buyer would do. If you take a look at some of these sales, sale one was in Lee County, which is closer to Raleigh. That sale was also a sale leaseback, similar to the sale of the subject property in 2020. So that's not a great sale. Guilford County, again, also closer to Raleigh. Sale 3, again in Lee County. Sale 4 and 5, we're closer in Iredell and Gaston County. And on page 107, you have Spartanburg, South Carolina, which is becoming huge in terms of these industrial grade warehouses, just because of the tax benefits that they offer and a bunch of pilot programs that they do to reduce the taxes for potential investors. Anderson, South Carolina, not really close to the subject. Davie County is closer and almost a metro area of Winston-Salem. You have Spartanburg, South Carolina, which I've already touched on, and then you have Asheville, North Carolina, which is more closer to Tennessee than us, or the location of the subject property. But that was really all I had to touch on.
Okay.
So.
One final question I have, and I meant to ask it earlier, were there any environmental issues with that property that you're aware of?
I believe there was. It was touched on during the 2021 appeal, I believe.
Okay.
With the land. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gray.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask Mr. Gray a question, and that is, are you feeling as though that the comps that the county provided are, because of the distance of the comps, makes them less comparable?
It doesn't, a potential buyer of these properties wouldn't be looking for a property in Spartanburg, South Carolina, if that makes sense, or they wouldn't be looking in Asheville, North Carolina. A potential buyer that's looking to buy this property is focusing on the Charlotte metro and being close to that area. So they would look for comps around the metro area that are within, let's say, 2 hours of the metro area. So I don't, sure the size and the age lines up, but I mean, if we did that, we would have 60 sales, if that makes sense. Just because you can kind of cherry pick the sales whenever you expand it to an area that a potential investor wouldn't really be looking. We really wanted to focus on what would this property sell for, and with the two warehouses being disconnected, there is that potential for them to sell separately. And so we felt that it was fair to take a look at what each property would individually sell for and kind of use that as a basis to then go forward and make adjustments if you feel that the improvements that they made were appreciated the value of the property. then that's fair, but we wanted to look at the Charlotte Metro. What would this property sell for in the Charlotte Metro? What would each individual property sell for? And go from there based off of that number. Not look at properties that, sure, they may line up on paper, but if you wanted to buy a house in Atlanta, why would you look for one in Savannah? You know, so.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Gray.
Thank you.
If it's okay, we're going to take maybe a 10-minute break?
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we'll just come back at about 10:45, if that's okay?
Sounds
All
good to
right.
me. Okay. All righty. We will call the meeting back to order.
All right, so we'll conclude with hearing number 9, and if you want to give the county they didn't have an opportunity to give last comments, do you want to give for hearing number 9 before moving on?
Hearing number 9.
The one we
Yeah,
just heard, yes, Mr.
Sorry
Gray
about that.
finished, so.
Mr. Hunter,
Yeah,
any final
Yeah,
comments on?
I'll be brief on the
Okay.
comments. I'd just like to answer some of the accusations. No comps were cherry-picked on when I pulled my sales. And what you're dealing with is, yeah, you can stay around the Charlotte, as close to Charlotte if you're using 150,000 square foot comps. They're everywhere. But when you've got 300,000 square feet, you've got to expand your search. And you've got to look in other areas, not just the Charlotte region. These things are relative. You're going to have, if they're a somewhat similar market, it doesn't matter if it's in Monroe or if it's Spartanburg or if it's in, you have investors that buy portfolios of these properties all over the southeast, sometimes all over the country. So what I did was, since I didn't have larger sales, square footage wise, because you have to look at it as a whole. You can't break it into parts. If somebody were to sell this, they'd have to have it subdivided with a plat to sell it separately. So we're not appraising it in that manner. We've got to appraise it how it sits. So you have to expand your sales. If you don't have any, you've got to reach out. And so I did the best I could to find comparables that had the same age, wall heights, and he said that comp 1 was a sale leaseback. If it is, let's throw it out. Wasn't aware, I apologize. Even if you toss that one out, it's still not going to change the outcome of what the dollar per square foot we've got it at and what those are coming up at. So that was basically what I wanted to speak to.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Okay.
all right. So we're going to go back to your notebook 1. We're going to be hearing number 2. This is going to be for property key number 06117-037. The taxpayer is Susan Petcher, and she is here.
You'll be familiar with this area because this is where we started this morning. If you'll come out right here past Union Day School, it's the same neighborhood. We're going to take Tilly Morris right out of Union County into Mecklenburg County. We're going to make a right on this Rocking Chair Road, and the subject parcel is this 06117-037 right here. It is also split by the Mecklenburg County line like our first hearing this morning. So if you want to go ahead and look at page 45, it'll show you where that property, the Mecklenburg Union County line runs through her property. And that'll give you a little better visualization of how it's broken up.
The green lines that,
Yes, the green line is the Mecklenburg County line. Everything on the left side of the page is Mecklenburg.
Right.
Everything on the right side of the page is going to be in Union.
I was having to get my colors squared away. Okay,
Hi, I'm Susan Picard,
okay.
and I apologize for being late. My
That's fine.
caregiver.
Bend that mic down a little bit. There we go.
I apologize for being late. My caregiver was 35 minutes late.
Okay,
Getting to, my husband has dementia, and I had to get somebody to stay with him. So my concern is similar to number 3 that you guys heard earlier today. My original valuation was $7,000, and it went up to $84,600, which is an 1,108% increase. And I did a whole lot of research on, the area. I did look at the Polaris GIS summary to see what the acreage was for the different, for Mecklenburg versus Union County. And also, I have the power line. There's an easement of 34 feet for the Duke Power, Duke Energy line. And it is behind my fence, so I can't use any of that property. When I went out and actually measured it, that area was 42 feet, not 34, but I'll settle for 34 because I guess I could move my fence. I don't know. And it looks like Union County uses acreage for making the valuations, but then, and that's what I did my first analysis on, which is the first, first section of the packet. And then when Greg came back to me and suggested 126,500 minus the 51,800 that Mecklenburg valued the Mecklenburg land, he came back with, I can't remember, let's see. Anyway, I didn't realize that that all of the lots in Hearthstone were valued pretty much the same, no matter what their acreage was. I did discover that the ones across the street from me, which are, well, Colonel Francis Beatty Park is right behind all the lots across the street from me. So I think that's why Mecklenburg County values them at 126,500. If you go down to the end of the street, across Quilting, the one right next to the park is valued at 126,500. That's for all the Mecklenburg property. If you go right next to that person, that lot is valued at 115,500. No, just 115,000. And all of the ones on my side of the street that are totally in Mecklenburg County are valued at 115,000. So I think if I didn't have any land in in Union County, I think my lot would have been valued at 115,000 also, because I'm on that side of the street. Same as with Butterchurn, they're all valued at 115,000. The ones across the street from him. So if you use I know Greg said he was going to propose 126.5 minus the 51.8 that Mecklenburg values my Mecklenburg land, and that would, but if you use that reasoning, I would use 115,000 minus the 51.8, and that would bring it down to 63,200. That's still an 803% increase in valuation over last year, which is a lot. Now, because I have that Duke Energy easement in the back and I can't use any of that land, I think the valuation should be even lower. In my case, I have 0.087 acre, and that is 25% of the 0.336 acre that is in Union County. When I do the calculations, that brings it down to 46,900. That's what I think is reasonable. That's still a 570% increase in what I paid last year, or what it was valued at last year. I know the taxes would be different, but I did do a chart that's let's see, I don't know what page that might be on. Let's see. let's see,
37
that-
and 37 and 38.
37, yeah. So that shows the Hearthstone parcels with split Mecklenburg and Union County valuations. And that just, I don't know, I just did that because I was curious. Partially, I was curious about the Union County acreage. It's showing on the tax inquiry page, it shows that my acreage is .366, and yet on that Polaris GIS summary, it shows .336, and it does make a difference, the .336 versus .366. I don't know where the .366 came from. I'm saying it's a typo, but that's where I am.
Okay.
I'm proposing 46.9.
Yeah, let me see if members of the board have questions.
I know,
for you, Mr.
I'm sorry
Carr.
it's so confusing and all that stuff.
No, we
but-
got you, because we
Yeah.
heard something similar earlier, so.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Mr. O'Keefe? Any questions?
I may have to come back because I'm getting lost in that.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Benchin?
You initially, at least according to the sheet that I'm looking at,
Your mic's not on.
thank you, Chairman, for that astute observation.
Did you?
You initially had your opinion of value at 7,000.
Right.
What caused you to reevaluate what you had to come to the 46?
46. Part of it was that Mr. Almond came back with, well, I mean, the 7,000 was what Union County showed in 23, I guess it was. which is-
21, probably, yeah.
Yeah. So Union County came back with 84.6. That's way too high. Okay, so when Mr. Almond came back to me after I sent my first, long proposal, just talking about the acreage and the .336 and the .087 Duke Power assessment and all that kind of stuff, or easement. When he came back and said, well, the lots that are all in Mecklenburg County, those are valued at 126.5. And so if you just subtract 51,800, which is what Mecklenburg says my land is worth in Mecklenburg, if you subtract that from the 126.5, you get 74.7. Is that what it was?
Yes.
I think it was.
That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, so, but, then I started looking at the other lots in Hearthstone, and they're valued at 115. That's more appropriate for my side of the street. So that took it down to, let's see, 63.2, if you're using that technique and not looking at acreage at all. But then, I want it reduced further, even from the 63.2, because of that, the Duke Energy easement. And I'm just using 34 feet, a 34-foot easement, which is what is the legal easement, even though there's 42 feet back in the back that I can't use. But I'm just using the 34 feet. And that's what would bring it down to the 46.9.
Okay, thank you.
I think that's reasonable.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Ashcraft?
Yes, on the Duke easement that you talked about,
Uh-huh.
was the power line there before you bought it or after you bought it?
Well,
I don't.
the house was built in, I believe it was there before. I don't know why they made the lot that big, why the lot goes all the way to the middle of the power line. my,
The easement was there when you bought the house, correct?
well, when my mom bought the house,
Okay,
yeah. I mean, it's on the plat that way, the Union County plat. It shows the easement. It shows my, no, it doesn't show my lot. Union County doesn't, but the Mecklenburg County plat, which I think is in, let's see,
Mecklenburg probably
Mecklenburg
wouldn't show it
County,
since
that's
it's not
page number
Mecklenburg.
23. That's page number 23. I'm number 8 on page number 23. So it shows that 34-foot easement. And when the house was built in 78 and my mom moved in, she bought it back in probably 79 or 79, I think, or 80. But it was there. Like I said, I don't know why
Okay,
the lot goes all the way back to the middle of the easement.
okay, but,
And I don't know who put the fence in.
and do you think other houses have sold in that neighborhood on that line of row of houses that you have? Do you think houses have sold since then, back and forth over the last?
Yeah, I mean, there's
So
there's
the
a,
easement at that time was still there, is that correct?
right,
Okay,
right.
I just wanted to make sure I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Picard.
Picard,
Okay.
yeah.
And if you don't mind, we'll hear from the county.
Oh, sure,
Okay.
sure.
Yes, this one is very similar to the first hearing we had this morning. It is in the same neighborhood. Originally, we used our rural land acreage, and that was $84,600. And in this particular case, when I looked at it and combined that $84,600 we had with Mecklenburg County's valuation of 51.8, that came up with a total lot value, combined lot value of $136,400. So I did go directly across the street, and matter of fact,
You said 106,000, you said?
well, the combined total was 136,400.
136.
Originally. And if you'll look at the document she submitted, that's page 38. You can look there on, if you'll come down to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th addresses there, 10432 Rocking Chair, 10424 Rocking Chair, 10416 Rocking Chair, and 108 Rocking Chair. Those are all directly across the street, right here, in front of there. And those lots, Mecklenburg County in 2023 assigned a lot value of $126,500. So I did reduce our valuation by 11.7% to bring it in line to $126,500. That would put her total lot value equal to the others across the street on that same street in there.
Okay.
And I telemetered out the entire parcel, and it's plus or minus. It's about, I think Mecklenburg has it at 0.626 acres total. When I telemetered, I got 0.639. So you're right in the 0.63 acre range for the total size of this lot. The ones across the street that we were looking at that are 126,500, they are 0.5 acres, 0.442 acres, 0.458 acres, and 0.484 acres.
They're smaller.
They are smaller.
Yeah.
And with the Duke of Power right-of-way, I did telemeter that out, off of our ARC GIS, and it's roughly 1,700 square foot, so even removing that, totally, the parcel is still larger than those across the street, total lot size.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Almond. Any further comments there? Is that? Any further comments from you? Are you good? Yeah. Let me see if members of the board have any questions. Mr. Benson? Mr. O'Keefe? Mr. Ashcraft?
So you still, as far as the county's concerned, y'all feel good about the 74.7, even with the easement problem of the power line?
Yeah, like I said, I looked at that, and it's roughly .039 acres. If I took that out, which would still leave her a usable lot size of .6 acres, which is still larger than those across the street that are
There you
valued
go.
at 126.5.
Okay. No other questions?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alden. Ms. Picard, before we move on, any final comments from you?
Yes. Yeah, yes, there are, let's see, on, like if, on page 36, I think, where is it, 38? No, 38. 38, valuations of different parcels in Hearthstone. There are other lots that are valued higher. There's, and they're still at 115. Let's see, there's 3146 Quilting. It's it's .702 acreage, and it's valued at 115, which is higher than mine. You know, when I looked at all of this stuff, it looks like any parcel that was near the park was valued at 126.5. It didn't matter what the acreage was. They didn't change it. And if it wasn't next to the park, it was valued lower. It was valued at 115. So I don't think that 126.5 is good to use for the total valuation of the lot. I think that 115 minus the 51.8 would be much more appropriate. And then I still think you should take off for the for the easement.
Understood.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question. So the 126 that you're talking about is across?
Across the street,
Across
and
the
then
street. Yeah.
and then the park is right behind them. So they
Okay.
can just walk right over to the park.
But you know the tax value that Mecklenburg came up with, the 126, do you know when that was done?
I think 23,
Yeah, but do you
Yeah.
understand how that works? It's
No.
that They probably took values from 21 and 22 to get the 23 value, just like we in Union County just did, 24 into 24. Now we're at for 25 values. So I'm just giving you that example of,
I know that my
Three
Mecklenburg
or
is,
four-
my Mecklenburg is gonna go up, I'm sure of that next time around.
well,
Yeah,
from
but-
21 to 25, I'm just asking you, do you think property values have gone up around, that's all.
Well, we've also got lots of trees, and it's very scary when the wind blows and the rain.
I have lots of trees too.
Yeah,
Just get
and
them
it's an old neighborhood, and
I
it's,
still need to get them picked up.
yeah, but, yeah.
I'm good.
I
Thank you.
definitely think it should be lower. I mean, and, even going with my valuation, which, considering the easement, 46.9, that's still a 570% increase.
That percentage, yeah, I understand that. It's a shocker, but as I mentioned earlier, in that shocker is, yeah, it's terrible it went up that much, but then I'm going back and thinking to myself, well, you've had 20 years at it
At only
7,000,
7,000.
and you haven't been paying taxes on it for, 20 years, so I'm just,
Yeah.
yeah, it jumped and.
It's funny, the valuation, when I look back at it, the valuation of that property went from 9,000 to 8,000 to 7,000. I don't know why, but that's kind of strange.
Strange.
Somebody thought it wasn't worth all that much.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ms. Picard.
Okay.
Any final comments from the county, Mr. Marshall? Okay, good. All right. Madam Clerk, we're ready to move on.
All right, we are going to move on. We're going back to book number 2. And this will be for property key number, it's going to be notebook 2, tab 2, 07126264. The taxpayer is W.F. Harris Development LLC. And there is an agent here, Richard Hutaff from Love and Hutaff PLLC.
To a degree, before we get started, I imagine we are taking these individually. Okay,
I think we're going to be dealing with a lot of the same comps and
Right.
look at, he's
Okay.
had appraisals on them, but we're going to be looking at 264, and then right beside 265A, and then down a few lots to 269. Those are the three that we're going to be looking at. They're located on Stallings Road. Let me zoom out just a little bit more. There's the railroad track that crosses, and there's Berry Global is right down the street. And you have the city park. So we're several properties here, and the beginning is it's a service garage.
okay. Oh. He's been here so long, yeah. I hear you, Mr. Hutaff.
And I apologize for the delay. My appraiser had some medical issues in their family at the last minute, and I didn't get my appraisals in. And I know that the board does not like to have any information presented to them at the meeting that has not already been presented. What I have for your review, if you'll accept it, is a summary of what I'm going to go over. I'm not going to give you any more new information. I don't know if this spreadsheet will be helpful for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if it's a,
If you want to pass it around.
We got, oh, this is yours?
That's just a blow-up of what's already in the package.
Okay. All right.
And if you'll forgive the top line here, my printer kind of messed up a little bit this morning.
no, I think if it's anything that helps summarize all this, I think we'd be glad.
I'd like to kind of take a 5,000-foot view. I think that's probably about the distance these cameras are.
Yeah.
And not dig too much into the weeds. I'm going to talk about square footage and comps and sales, and I know that the county's done a thorough job. They've got quite a bit of comps. Particularly, I'd like to break it down, my presentation down into two parts. If you'll swing over to almost two-thirds of the way over where it says the Harris appraisal, I've got some check marks. And there's three properties there that we brought up first on Stallings Road. I'd like to kind of address those in a group.
Okay.
And then I'll talk briefly about the next one with an H, and I've got an H by it, which means that it's the Harris's value and not an independent appraiser. Looking at the Stallings Road property, I'd like to point out one thing that first of all, the county in appraising these properties have about, I don't know, maybe half a dozen or 10 comps. And they use all.
Probably still need you at the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They had 9 comps, and they used all those 9 comps in evaluating the individual properties, 3 individual properties. My appraiser did the same thing. He narrowed it down to 3 comps in the appraisals that we presented to the board. One of the things I'd like to have you look at over there on the right-hand side of the column where the check marks are from the 5,000-foot view, I did a little bit of math and showed the 2024 values, the reevaluation value, the county's increase dollar-wise, and then I did a percentage of increase for those 3 properties. The 475 Stallings Road and the 509, and the 629 properties increased by 221% and 217%. The 509 property increased by 184%, And if you go over to the next column over, it says Harris increase in value. Our appraisal came in at approximately the same number. The difference was only about $900. So we're not going to argue over $900 on the property that we refer to as the 509 Stallings Road. The thing that I think gives us a little bit of heartburn is that the 200+% increases were quite a bit more than what our appraiser came up with. And we feel like if you notice that our increases were like more in line with 184%, compare that to the county's increase was 184% on the 509 property. Our increase on the 475 property was 179, and it was a little bit less, 126% on the 629 Stallings Road property, and that's, in our opinion, that's justified because the 629 property has a lot less square footage than the 509 property. So we feel like that our appraiser was a little bit more on target than your appraiser was, and we're asking that you accept those values, particularly given the fact that of the three, we're not going to argue but on two of them.
Okay, so just to make sure I'm clear on the 475 Stallings Road, you're good with the 494,900 value?
No, only on the next one, the 509, we're good with your value of 370,900 because our value came in at 370.
Okay.
The other two, one was significantly different. One was 100,000, one was almost 94,000, one was 197. And the reason ours was substantially less is because the building is much smaller. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background and overview, both appraisers noted the fact that...
Wait a minute, yeah.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
I apologize. If you will... go to, I believe, the county's appraisal, and I don't know exactly which page, but both the county and our appraisal pointed out that the zoning in this area has changed considerably over the years. It is now called the town center. Apparently, the town of Indian Trail is not 100% happy with the way this, all these properties, or this particular row of properties, have been developed on Stallings Road. And as this, if you can blow this map up a little bit more, come out. And the reason for that, I believe, they now call it a town center, is because it's almost, this corner property is very close to the town center itself in the park. I think the earlier...
Can y'all,
Can you
want them to...
draw it out?
You want a
just
wider
little bit?
view?
A
Yeah.
wider view?
Yeah, wider view.
Yeah, wider.
I just
excuse me.
wanted to see it on this.
I'm sorry.
screen. That's fine. Just to see it. All right. Are we getting close to it?
How's that?
That's really, yeah, right here, where you mentioned earlier, our property is the blue property here.
Right.
And then the town center is here.
Oh, okay.
And if you look at a map of the current zoning, it's called a town center, and they have future zoning is to be more of a greenway walkway space. And we found this out last year when we lost one of the tenants, and the new tenant wanted to come in, and the town of Stallings would not allow an automotive tenant. These three properties have always been automotive in use for parts or repairs or storage of some sort. So when this new tenant came in and was automotive in nature, they couldn't get the building inspection and everything they needed to turn the water on because they were automotive, and the new zoning doesn't allow that.
Right.
Now, the two other properties, which we're going to refer to, if you'll notice over here to the third column where it says description, the 475 is currently an auto repair, and the 509 property is automotive in nature. And the property I was just talking about that we lost a tenant and couldn't put an auto in there, is now a cycle shop. And all these buildings are very old. We had difficulty in leasing them because they're in great repair. If you look at your own pictures on your website, they are the metal type buildings built 30-plus years ago. The two properties, the first two, Stallings 475 and 509, those tenants are in the process of, we hope, moving out. One, both of them have health issues. They've been there forever. We have tried to get them to sign a long-term lease. They would not. They are currently on month-to-month. One plans to move out in December. The other, if he can sell his business, we hope that they would be grandfathered if they bought his business and kept it as automotive. But we're really not sure. So my client's biggest fear is because of the current zoning and the age of the buildings, that the value that the county has assigned to them is really high. And if you look at each of your parcel reports and do the math for the land value divided by the acreage, our second biggest concern is that apparently the county has put a value on the land of $354,310 on two of the properties and $354,258, and that's just my math. Your appraisals have the price per square foot bounces from $11.65 to $33.65. An average of that probably would somewhere be around the $18 or $20 a square foot, which is, if you break down what our appraisals show, that's what the building value per square foot is. So on the average, we can argue all day long about what the square footage of an old building is worth. But our biggest concern is that, our comps, we broke down and compared to property on Gribble Road, which was close by. The other two properties are in Union County, and we feel like the land value that the county has put on this property is very high. We would therefore submit that our appraisals as shown and as submitted of $400,000 for the property at 475 Stallings Road, the $370,000, which we're not disagreeing with. We'll accept your value of $379,900, but again, we would ask that you accept our value of $400,000 for the building on 475 and $275 for the building at 629. And the difference there is because of the size of the building. I don't know that the county took that into consideration.
Okay, Mr. Hugh, just gonna stop you for a second.
Am I-
We were only calling hearing number 10. I know you're talking about all four of them.
Yeah.
Is the chairman, are you okay with that? Because he's covering.
Yeah, he's covering three of
So
them.
we only called hearing 10 first. We were going to discuss that one first. So
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that all the information that's provided is not getting confused with the other ones, because we're going to have to call the other ones separately.
I'll be glad to go over each of them individually. I was hoping that since they're all right there on that one strip, they're all very similar in nature. We used the same comps for all three. The county used the same comps for all three on their end. I was hoping to kind of give a 5,000-foot view.
Excuse me, Mr. Hunter is raising his hand.
We don't have an issue. If it pleases the board, we can look at all three at one time. I don't have a problem with
Yeah,
that.
I think
If you'd like
as
to
we
do it.
talk about each property, if we could kind of
Okay.
speak to the parcel number or tab number as we
Sure.
go. But
Yeah,
those three, I think we can kind of hear together as long as we have some dialogue in here that's recorded that delineates each one as we go.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So if it's okay, this is going to be for hearing number 10.
Let me do this.
Oh, 10,
I'm
yeah.
not on the same page as you guys are. I go by property numbers and address and then by the tenant.
Yeah.
So what is your number 10? What's the parcel number?
Yes, sir. So the hearing number 10 that was called is for parcel number 6264. I do not have the address
That would be,
provided,
if
but
we want to chime in, that's for the 475 Stallings Road.
Correct.
okay. And
Okay.
is it my understanding that then we're also discussing, we're jumping to hearing 12, which is for property key number 07126269?
That's correct. That would be the
629.
629 building.
Okay, and then also in conjunction, we are also hearing number 13 for
Wait.
property key number.
I thought we skipped 11.
I thought we were doing 11.
What's 11?
Because he was stating he was not going to contest that, so I think we're not,
Yeah.
that's why I'm
Okay.
trying to get
Well,
clarification.
let's clarify what number 11 is, if you don't mind. Is that number 265A?
Correct.
That
Okay,
is correct.
all right.
So when you're talking about the comps and going over what you're discussing, it's my understanding we're talking about hearing number 10, 12, and 13, which is for property key number 09369005J80. I just want to make sure they can hold in.
I agree, is hearing 10, 11, and
And
12.
12.
So you're not encompassing 13 for that.
Well, tell me what 13 is again, I'm confused.
09369005J80. That's not part of
Oh,
your.
that's
Okay.
entirely different property. That's what we're
All
going
right.
to refer to as the airport road.
So
road
hearing
property.
10, 11, and 12 are being discussed at this point then?
That is correct.
Just want clarification for.
No, I
Okay.
appreciate that.
All right,
Even
thank
though I
you.
think he's gone on record, that's probably the confusion, that he's accepted the value on hearing.
For number
For
11.
number 11.
Right.
Yes,
So
sir.
But
we're
he
just
was
really talking
presenting
about-
10, 11, and 12 together.
All
is the way-
together, just
yeah.
to make my point.
Right.
Understood. Just
Right.
wanted clarification
Yeah.
for that.
Thank you
So
very
thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chairman.
No, thank you.
Are we good, Mr. Chairman?
Okay. Mr. Hutaff, let me see if members of the board have questions on
Sure.
those three. So, Mr. O'Keefe,
I've heard what he's saying so far, I would like to hear from the county.
okay, Mr. Benson.
Was he finished?
No, I've got, the next group, I've got one other property.
He's
and then-
finished with these three.
Yeah,
We're trying to
these
get
three.
into something.
Yeah, we're trying to get
Yeah.
to these three. We're dealing with these
So
three.
he's done with these three?
These,
Are you done with the three you've been doing?
Yes, those three I'm done
yeah,
with.
so I'm seeing if they have
Okay.
questions
Right,
as it relates to those three, okay?
And I apologize, I thought I was simplifying this process.
No,
but
that's all right. We
apparently I
kind of
didn't.
have to have them delineated kind of separately as best we can. So, Mr. Benson, any questions?
I'm good if he's good, if he's
Okay.
done. I'll wait for the county.
Okay. Mr. Ashcraft?
I'm not doing the minutes, Richard, so that's why I'm saying I'm following you. But I can understand why the county would have problems, because they have to do the minutes and
Right.
write them.
Okay.
I'm good. No questions.
So
Mr.
on those initial three, Mr. Hutaff, if you don't mind, let me have Mr. Hunter speak on
Sure.
behalf of the county, and then I'll call you back for final comment
No,
as
that's
it
great.
relates to these three.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, we'll start with 264. It's a service garage, 7,200 square feet. We have, and all of these are on cost approach. We're running all these on cost. So what we're looking at is the land value plus the value of the building that we ran through Marshall and Swift. Based on the age of the property, we don't have any kind of effective age. It's based on when it was built in 1978, so it's valued with the depreciation built into it from the Marshall and Swift system. It's 14 feet high. We got the building 80% depreciated. It's at $15 a square foot just for the building. The land, we've used land sales to determine land in that area. It is Zone TC, Town Center, which we feel has a lot of potential. Not just for, at one time, I believe it may have been industrial zoning, but now it's a form of commercial, kind of typical. A service garage kind of floats between industrial and commercial land, so you see them on both. But so what we did was we said, okay, this land, given this kind of potential with the kind of traffic pattern that's on this road, we valued it, and you have a handout that I gave you with the multicolors on it. All it is a blow-up of the what's already in your packet, just so you can read it a little bit better. I know we've had some problems with being able to see things, and you know, we're looking at what it is, and all the values line up based on the age of the property. And what you're going to see is you're going to see some variances, because on the cost approach,
that land is valued at $354,300 an acre, which is what the going rate would be for Stallings Road. It's not an industrial area, it's more commercialized. This property has 1.16 acres. The other two you're gonna see is like .689 and 1.045. So based on that, it runs it on the acreage. So that's why you're gonna see a difference in dollar per square foot, and that's why you're gonna see a difference in it, but the rate stays the same. The rate is $354,300, and it's backed up by land sales that we used to run our numbers for the reval. I looked at the appraisal that was submitted, and basically there was a few things issues that I had with it that I just couldn't see my way to make a reduction. All right. On page 77, it was appraisal performed by BB&G. They're out of Tampa, Florida, but they have a local agent that did the inspection here. On 78, came up with a value of $400,000. Has some good pictures. Yes, it's an old garage. It's an old shop, service garage. But then I went to page 88, and it says, data requested but not provided, and that was the lease. And so usually when we get appeals of properties and people want their value reduced, they'll provide lease information. Because if it's not leasing at a certain rate, if it's low or below market, we generally try to help them out with that value because it's underperforming. Now, I don't know the reason that a lease was not provided on this property. And so that's one of the limitations. This is a restricted appraisal report. He's not privy to that, but he developed a market. He developed what he found in the market. And in doing so, he used both the income and the sales comparison approach. And if you turn to page 113, he narrowed it down to 3 sales. And keep in mind, we're on Stallings Road, and sales 1 and 3 are both in Monroe. It's an industrial area off of East Franklin, to the northeast Franklin, back in there behind some of those properties is a industrial area, which I felt to be significantly inferior. And if you look at the bottom line where it says indication for the subject, $1 per square foot, comps 1 and 3 come in at $38 and $42. Comp number 2 is in our area on Gribble Road. It came in at $78 a square foot, which is more in line with what we have now at 72. So in reviewing appraisals, and I've reviewed hundreds of them over the years, when you've got 2 comparables that are that skewed from what this middle one is, you either have a problem with the middle one or you got a problem with the other 2. And so I feel like it's the problem with the other 2 is that there wasn't an accounting for the location of those properties. And I feel like comp 2 more supports the value because it's closer. And it's a more similar market because you just can't compare Stallings Road area to these areas down here in Monroe. And not only that, but I happened to pull up comp number 1 because it seems like it sold, and I didn't have time to look at comp 3, but when I pulled up on Secretary of State website, the transaction between the 2 parties, Inca Distribution purchased from Emily Properties. And according to that website,
the registered agent is the same as Marcos Mendoza for both of those companies. So that indicates to me that maybe it's a good probability that these two, this may have been some interest that transferred and not a true market sale. So I was real hesitant to rely on comp number one for that reason. If you look at page 114, we'll talk about the income approach. Use 3 comps, one on North Charlotte at $12 a square foot rent comp. And then something else, north of East Frank again, we're back over here in these areas. Another one, and the Broome Streets off Walkup, which are very inferior. And they pulled it down. He used $10 a foot, whereas the $12 would be more like where we would be, 12 or more, actually. And so I reran numbers just using $12 a foot, and I'm coming up more closer to where we are. His income approach was $455,000, which is not too far from where we are now. And if you get the dollar per square foot where it should be, we're going to be right on the money. So that's the second reason that I just didn't feel like I should make a change on this. The other reason is that the sales that I found, it was hard to find anything that was as low as what we have. Let's look at page 39. Sorry to flip around, but it's just where it's run. So,
39.
yep, page 39.
39.
We tried to find structures that are located on kind of commercialized areas. And so what we found was we had nine different properties. It ranged from $353,000, ran all the way up to $2 million. But those properties are going for like $200, $232. I like the subject. Well, it pulled the whole thing, but
Yeah, I got you.
we're where the red dot is
Right.
here. And this is where Seaboard is.
Yeah.
If you take a look at that property,
Can we clarify that's 416 Seaboard? My page numbers are different than yours. The descriptions are the same. I mean, I have 83 on 416 Seaboard instead of 41 page.
Joe, which tab are you using
Which hearing?
right now?
He's on number 10.
Because there is
Number
the reason
10.
I do that is because there's another Seaboard.
Mhm.
Let's see if we can just identify by the address of 416.
Yeah, sure, 416 Seaboard Street.
Yeah, page
Okay, Parcel
41.
number 07126-300.
There you go. We got
Okay.
it.
That sold for $1.6 million. It's 5,600 square feet. We're 7,200 square feet, and we're at 520.
That's unreal.
Yeah, there's a lot of sales. The market has just boomed up here. There's multiple sales for your review in there. That's one of them. Now, my page 49, it'll be comp number 5, 216 Warehouse Drive is also close by. I have 49, but probably if it's a different number, then the address is 216 Warehouse Drive, Matthews.
Page 49 in our book, correct?
Yeah, 07126-283.
Mr. Hutup, if you want to look at the
Yeah, we have
book
that.
here, we have it, and it's numbered, if you would rather use this one.
Yeah, if he doesn't have the red numbers on it, he's not going to be able to follow. Yeah.
Let me have the address.
216 Warehouse Drive. It would be a comp number 5. All right, that sold in '23. It sold for $440,000. Said it had 1,000 square feet. So that one, that's $440,000 for 1,000 square feet. That was $415 a square foot. It's unbelievable, but it's happening. We have that property appraised at $221 a square foot, and our subject's sitting at 72. So it's just multiple. I've got multiples. We could stay here all day and look at these. Number 57, that's on Gribble Road, is comp number 9. 3474 Gribble Road. This will be the last one we look at because it's. These are just, I'm trying to be objective and show you some different areas here. And Gribble's just south of, there's a subject over here, and here's Gribble. And the appraisal had used Gribble. $516,000, 1,991 square feet. We're 7,200 square feet, we're 520.
Now, that's 3437 Gribble?
3474, page 57.
Okay, it sold on 1221,
1221,
516?
that's right, 1,991 square feet. And you're more than welcome to look at all the comps in there. They're all pointing to a much higher value than what we have on these properties.
Okay,
So, Mr. Chairman, can I ask you?
you can, yeah, Mr. Hunter.
So we're dealing with hearing number 10, and this is the parcel number 264, and you're giving those comps, and the county's value on it is 520?
That's correct.
Okay.
Questions, Mr. Benchin, from Mr. Hunter on this particular one?
No.
Okay, Mr. O'Keefe?
Just to clarify, 520 is, notice value is 494,900. Am I reading that correctly?
Correct, but the current value's 520.
That's correct. What happens is anytime someone appeals, we look at the listing itself and we make sure that the listing is correct. So we added some paving, added some canopies, we just want to make it right.
Yeah, you review it.
We review it. So
Right.
unfortunately,
It went
three
up.
outcomes to an appeal. It's, can go down, stay the same, or go
Go
up.
up.
So it did put up a little.
Okay. And then Mr. Hutaff has already spoke to tab 12, so are you going to address tab 12?
I can.
Yeah,
I can.
and I think I'm staying in order here. And, yeah, let me,
On this particular property while I have my thoughts.
yeah, I can come back to you, or you want to do it now?
I'll do it now.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. That's fine with me.
Again, I'd like to back up and I reiterate what I said earlier about trying to look at a 5,000-foot approach rather than getting too deep in the weeds, mainly so you guys can get out of here by noon, because it's my understanding that Chairman Hardison says if we go past noon, he's buying everybody's lunch. Is that correct?
I don't think so.
Don't think so. I guess, gentlemen, this goes back to, I say tomato, you say tomato. Looking at the 12,000-foot view of the 9 comps that he just talked about, I went back and looked at 4 or 5 of them in detail and did a little spreadsheet. I'm not disagreeing with, the sales approach, but if you take, the values he gave on the sales approach are correct. But for example, if you take, what's confusing to me, and I don't understand the process that they're going through, because it seems like they say tomato and I say tomato. Yes, the property at 416 Seaboard did sell. on 5/22/24 for $1.6 million. And if you pull up the GIS report, it has a value per the county, and I don't know if it's been objected to or appealed. The county has put a total value on that property for purposes of the 2025 tax valuation, which is what I understand shows up on the GIS today, is $354,500. So that's 22% of the sales price. And if you go and dig a little bit further, you have to go into another website because it's not fully disclosed on the GIS, and I assume that's because they're not final. But if you go into where did the $354,500 come from, the county put land value of $225,000 on 1.5 acres. And they put a building value of $129,500 on 5,200 square feet. My argument is that your land values are way too high for our particular property. So if you do the math on the 225 divided by 1.5 acres, you come up to $150,000. I did the same thing on 420 Seaboard, which is in your comps. I come up with 150. In fact, on all 7 of your 9 properties, when you do that type of math based on y'all's numbers, you come up with $153,000 per acre for the land. Only on the last 2, on the last one it's the 150. Only on the Matthews number 8, which is at 3850 Matthews Road, is at 183,000. So I'm going back to my argument that these are old buildings and that the values that you put on the land based on your own numbers and how you interpolated them from these high sales price to come up with your tax value, I don't know and I don't care. But when I do the math, it comes up to $150,000 per acre on the comp. So I'm saying that, you know, your value of $350,000, whatever the number was, 354, is way out of line. And I disagree with the argument or the proposition that was made that this zoning TC of town center has some potential increase in value over the future. You know, our experience has been that it's, you know, if my client can't continue to lease these properties for automotive, which they are used for now, and the only use that if they have to go through a special use permit with the town of Indian Trail, and they say they have to conform with their new master plan, which in addition to the current zoning, I think there's a future master plan to make this more visibly and friendly user to tie in with the city, the town hall and the county, my client's gonna have to tear these buildings down. And that's gonna be a very expensive cost to tear these down. So, I mean, if you had to tear these buildings down today and sell the land, my client's gonna lose money on it. And the land, you have to take into consideration the cost to raise those buildings. So, if you think the value's worth $350, I'm saying it's gonna cost $150 to tear the building down and dispose of them. So the land itself, I submit, based on your own numbers and ours, is nearly not as high as what y'all are proposing. And that's my, I'm trying to look at it from a logical standpoint and not dig into the weeds, because, you know, you got numbers that bounce all over the place.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask something here?
Yes, you sure can.
Now, this is the first one that we discussed. Are we gonna do this all day long when we do number 11? Are we gonna do it on number 12? Are we gonna do, you know?
Well, we're good on 11, so we're going to.
We're good on 11, so
Oh, they did
I'm making
agree
the
on
same
that.
argument for 12.
Yeah.
So that number 11's good because the appraiser that they used said 370, is that correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the appraiser didn't approve those. Okay. I just want to make sure, I don't want to.
And again, the
going back
one we're
and
talking
forth.
about now, the 520,000 number, is all new to me. I've been on vacation for 2.5 weeks, and I got a bunch of emails before I left, and I downloaded them yesterday and printed them out, and I thought the number was 494, and y'all gone up 30 grand somehow or another, and my page numbers don't match up.
Yeah.
But I'm going back to the theory that by address and by these properties, regardless of what you call them, I know y'all have to go by 10, 11, and 12, which now I'll go by, but I strongly urge that our numbers on 10 and 12 are more in line with reality, just based on logics and comparison of comps.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hutath. Now-
And are we gonna dig into number 12?
Yeah, let me,
Okay.
to kind of keep things in order.
I understand.
Any further response from the county, Mr. Hunter, on tab 10?
Sure. I think if you look at your, the handout that I gave you, it shows that based on our methodology, we're in line. All these properties are in line. They all use the same dollar per acre, and the fact that, you know, one of them's lower than the other or higher than the other, the first and the third one are the ones that we have issue with, and that land value is $370,000 for the 1 acre, and then it's $411,000 for 1.16. It's very cut and dried. Marshall and Swift, same way. Actually, probably low on the dollar per square foot on 269, 07126, 269. Where the building is only 1373, it's only 3,000 square feet. Whereas the 7,200 square foot, the building's $12.99. One other point I could bring up is it's kind of an old sale, but also on your list, you'll see there's a pink highlight down there. It's 07126 266A.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it right-handed, I'm sorry.
You may want to make it a capital A.
Maybe that'll,
Yeah, that's good.
well, I'll tell you what, we can, I can just find it right here, because it's right beside. Well, I've done a good job of that. haven't I?
Yeah.
Okay.
That happens to me all the time.
There we go.
It really does, trying to get something.
Here we are. $266A is here,
And the subject is the one
and the subject is
right there.
right here. All right. That sold in 2020. It sold for $675,000. And it's 7,500 square feet. He's renovated it since. But that was the final reason that we didn't feel like there was because it's zoned the same, has the same limitations. They've turned it into like a auto sales, I think. They work on some things back there. I was in that building. And
So
it's
they
been,
upfitted it, is what you're saying?
they've upfitted it since they bought it for $675,000. So that was another indicator, because I tried to say, okay, you know, these are fairly unique. And the other thing is, like, as far as the land value being different than the comps, well, the comps are in industrial areas. They're not on heavily traveled streets. And so what we do is we have site ratings for industrial, just like we do commercial. And if you're on a heavily traveled street, you're more apt to get a lot more customers come into whatever establishment you have on that site. So that would be probably an excellent site rating as far as some type of use like that. More at an industrial rate, but it'd be an excellent version of it. So we tried to allow for that, and felt like that the land certainly would command that type of money if it were to be sold, the land and the building. Even if you had to tear it down, it would definitely command that type.
That's kind of where I was going. I mean, I kind of sympathize with the taxpayer on the point.
Right.
If the town is kind of limited the use to the property,
Mm-hmm.
and if he doesn't want to sell it, he's forced to possibly demolish the building. You got that cost.
Yeah, there's two approaches you could do
Yeah.
with it. You could either upfit it, adaptive reuse.
Right.
Because it allows for all sorts of commercial endeavors other than a service garage.
Right.
Practically many more things. There's a whole list of them in the zoning
That they
section.
could do to conform with.
Yeah, you could renovate or upfit like that other like the gentleman a couple of lots down. That's what
Right.
he did.
Okay.
He bought it and then he turned it into something that was allowed and viable.
Mr. Chair, can I ask
Yes.
you a question? So that 266A that you finally pulled up, it's 3 down below, sold for 660, you said,
675,
or 675 in
Twen-
April of 20,
2020.
that was upfitted. What was the tax value you got on that?
The tax value on
On that
that,
building right there, that,
660,400 is the tax value on it. And as on that spreadsheet, I've got it down. We got it $88 a square foot now, since it's had some upfit to it. And so it's 7,500 square feet, we're 7,200 square feet. It's $88, we're 72.
okay. So would you say that's similar to the properties that are being appealed right now?
Yes. At the time of the sale, it was. It's superior to them now because it's been upfitted and changed.
But the county's tax value on it, it's still 672, even though
It's-
it's been upfitted?
It is. I feel like he probably paid a little more than he should have for that property
And he put more money into it.
and put more money into it. Yeah. I talked with the owner himself. I talked with him about the sale. He said he was just tired of Florida and wanted to come up here, and he was excited, and he bid as much as he could on it.
I just think that's kind of unusual from 20 to 25. It seems like it had been up more, a little more in value.
Yeah, well, I would like to speak to that too,
Crazy
because that's
time,
come
yeah.
up several times about why the increases. And see, what we have is we have 100,000 parcels and you got 8 or 9 appraisers. I have 13,000 structures I got to keep up with myself. So we don't get to put an eyeball on every single one of these when we do revow, have a
I
limited
understand.
amount of time. And some of the increases that y'all saw, like from 21, we had a pandemic going on. And we did a lot of that revow from our homes.
Of course.
And so that's some of the reasoning. And, you know, and even then, even for this time, we always wanted to have a little bit more time to do these. And I think, you know, hindsight probably could be a little higher on this one. And I don't think that would be an issue. But yes, there are properties that we do need to address better, and there's several that, you know, we do
Well,
need to
the
bring.
Joe, the reason I bring it up is because you said it's sold for a certain amount, and then again, you said it's been upfitted.
Right.
And the value really hasn't gone up since 20 on it.
Right. Well, it has gone up since, I don't know what it was in 20, but that's the current value. It was a lot less than that in 20.
Okay. All right, so like the tax value to the other properties going down the road, right? That's not part of the appellate. Those tax values are similar to those?
Yes,
Has there been an upfit or anything?
they have, not to my knowledge, if they have, but.
Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, you take back over.
Okay.
I just had
Nope.
to, I
You
was
good?
still trying to figure it out.
Okay. We're good here. Mr. Hunter, thank you. And,
Do I have an opportunity to rebut that?
Just not so long.
well, no, because you've already rebutted it.
Yeah.
I gave him, let's move on to the next one. I think we've got a lot of information on that one.
A lot.
So, Madam Clerk, we're good on hearing 11.
That is correct. I just, gonna put on record that, the appellant is okay with the value of $379,900,
Right.
which was what the notice of value was.
And I think I'm doing this just to be on the safe side. We've already addressed pretty much tab 12, which I may need to give Mr. Hutaff a chance to rebut any final comments maybe on that one and give the county the same opportunity before we move on to 13. Correct? Or
You can clarify, I believe in the last speech you
Rebut.
gave, it was part of 12, and it was
Okay.
gonna be the county's turn, but if he has anything additional
True, true,
on hearing
true,
12,
true. Probably, yeah. Any final comments from the county on
Did he really
tab
talk-
12?
Did the county really talk
on
about
hearing
that,
12,
Mr.
Joe, that
Chairman?
would be parcel number 07126269.
The
Final
only thing I
comments.
can tell you is it's the same Marshall and Swift. It's run off the square footage. There's no effective age change. It's just based on when it was built and how much the size of the land. It's all done equitably.
And which parcel is that on this map right here? Is that,
12.
That's,
okay, where your point?
yeah, that one right there. I'm having
Okay,
a little
thank you.
issue with this map, but
I
yeah, that's it.
showed it.
And it's right down the street from the other two. These were, that was the one that we agreed on. This was the one that we
Okay.
had issue with.
Never
And
did.
it's the same comps, basically. Same appraisal, used the same comps on
Okay.
all three of the properties. So it's basically, in a nutshell, it's the same argument, pretty much, that we had on the first one.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
All right, so we are going to move on to hearing number 13 and hearing number 14. Hearing number 13 is for property key number 09369005J80. Hearing number 14 is for 09369005J90. And Mr. Hutuff is here for those as well.
So we're doing 13 and 14
So-
together.
Madam Clerk, and maybe to the taxpayer too, these properties are, it's all one basically, but it's two parcels.
That is correct.
So we'll talk about
We will
both of
put
these
those together.
together.
This,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, the 80 and the 90 just divides between taxing jurisdictions. The 80 is inside the city and the 90 is outside, it's in the county.
Okay.
So the 90 is just a little
Little strip.
right there in front of this. And we're located on Airport Road. There's the airport, right where Corporate Center Drive comes into the property.
Right, right. Okay. So, Mr. Hutaff, we'll let you speak to this one.
This one is somewhat interesting in the fact that it does have those two delineations between the county and the city. My client's position is that even though you've assigned two separate parcel numbers, it is in fact one parcel. I believe the county provided me with some details based on an email from Joe Hunter concerning how they came up with the Marshall and Swift values for a commercial agricultural structure. And I started analyzing those numbers, and in order to understand them, I was lucky enough to get up with S.C. Hondros and Associates, who built the building, what I'm referred to as the 1310 building, over 30 years ago, and asked them to look at that and to give me their opinion as to, and to analyze this Marshall and Swift structure flex tool analysis that apparently the county used to come up with the value of the building that it used in its appraisal. And I believe the county valued its building under that Marshall and Swift at $3,818,014, and I believe that is what shows up on the current website for the value. And in analyzing this, the county did some detailed numbers, including the canopies and the paving, the sidewalk, the building itself. My main concern is with the depreciation number that they used. They said the county used a 34% depreciation number in its analysis. And according to S.C. Hondros, even though this is a concrete type, I think, tilt building, that it has beyond its economic life and functionability. And he said these buildings typically last 40 to maybe 50 years, but should be replaced within 30 or 40 years. And based on that, I'm going to have to go with the construction people at SC Hondros who say that the depreciation, rather than 34%, or should be more like 60 or 75%. So I felt like it would be fair to go back and I copied the numbers over again, and I just picked a number in between the county's number and what SC Hondros said, and said, what if the depreciation, if it's reached 50%? And I came up with a value for the building of $2,942,839. And plugging, and that gives it about a $43.73 per square foot value for the building. And then if you take the county's value for the land and total that, we feel like that this entire property with the building on it is worth $5 million. And I believe the county has a combined number of 5.4. So we're $435,000 difference on that. Again, I think that our argument is going to be, even though we don't have an appraiser, and they have given a couple of appraisals over here, I did review those. They listed, the county has listed quite a few. What is my page 49 and 50. The county looked at 22 different properties. I believe, I looked at the ones I was able to pull up on the GIS website, the 200 Beltway Boulevard and Industrial Ventures, and one on Morgan Mill Road, only because they were local and were somewhat close in square footage. I came up with like in the 50,000 to 40,000 square foot range, and our property is 62,000 square feet. So going on my analysis like I did before, if you dig into the website, your website, unioncountync.devnetwedge.com, you can get a breakdown, even though the GIS says that this 200 Beltway, the county's put a value of $3.6 million on it. If you break that down, the county put a land value of $870,000. You divide that by 5.2 acres, and the county in their comp, or at least in the comp they provided, says that the acreage is $152,000 per acre. I did the same math on one of the county's comps, which would be the Gray Fox Road in Monroe, and the website shows that the land value on that is $353 divided by 2.6 acres, and you come up with $134,000 per acre. And I didn't go through, I only did three I didn't want to go through all of them because they were in various counties all over everywhere, and I know that it's hard to compare this type of structure because there's not that many in this area. Well, actually, based on the previous conversation you had about that larger warehouse, there are a lot of warehouses in this area. But if you do the same math, your website shows that the value of this property on Morgan Mill Road, the real estate, the dirt, is $322,400 per acre. You divide that by 2.573, and you come up with $125,000 an acre. So my proposition is that if you take, you can bounce around the acreage, and y'all can assign whatever value you want to the acre or the building, but the total property, we feel like the value of the land is going to be, the value of the building is based on a 50% depreciation is 2.7. The land, because there's quite a bit of acreage, you do the math on that, is almost equal to the value of the land of 2.2. So you come up with $5 million for our value. Now, a point I'd like to point out that was argued earlier by the other gentleman, which I agree with, and I can't remember who he was, but he was showing a very large warehouse, and apparently the warehouses of today, one of my theory and proposition that this property is more depreciated than what the county says is because it doesn't have the 20 or 30 foot ceilings, and it's not built up to construction standards today. It seems like that that this is basically almost an functionally obsolete building, even though it may be around for 100 years, I don't know. But from a economic standpoint, according to S.C. Hondros, and the type structures that are being built today is functionally or economically fully depreciated, close to fully depreciated. Again, we use 50% versus the county's 34%. Also, the argument that was made earlier, and I agree with the gentleman, that these older buildings have a cap rate of around 8%. And my recollection, without providing the lease, because my client would like to keep that confidential, is this approximately, net of taxes, approximately $400,000 a year for this building. And if you take an 8% cap rate, that fully supports a value of $5 million.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep along. Where was that documented in your evidence? I'm
Well,
lost. No,
I
what you just
presented
quoted.
by email, I'm talking about, I don't have the cap rate or any of that. All I presented was S.C. Hondros's, let's see, I sent an
I'm sorry.
email out,
So he just,
So what you just quoted is new information. It's not in here?
well, yeah, we don't have an outside appraiser that came in and looked at the lease.
Okay, no,
I'm
I'm
just-
sorry.
I'm just
I was
showing
trying to follow along, and you
I'm
said
just
something about a
giving
cap
you
rate.
theoreticals.
And I was looking at that
No,
information, but you
I
didn't present
understand.
that information.
I'm basing my basic approach on the fact that what the county has, in its comps, has valued land at in this area, and what it would cost, what the building, according to its cost, less its depreciation, in our opinion, which should be 50%, and you add those two together, and it comes up to $5 million.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
That's all I'm trying to state. See if I've got a few more notes here I made. And again, if y'all want to massage the numbers, we feel like it's one parcel and the one entire parcel, even though you broke it up into two. Whatever value you want to put to that little strip, we really don't care. Y'all have got a value of $159,000 for 2 acres, which comes up to $75,000 an acre. So that, I mean, the county, yourselves have put a value of this land out here of about $75,000 an acre, and that's actually a little bit less than what I calculated in coming up with my $5 million. So, again, I'm taking a little bit different approach. I'm looking at comparing what you guys have put on your website on your values for land.
Okay.
But I disagree with the way the approach, or I don't disagree with the approach, I disagree with the depreciation
Okay.
and how that affects the building.
Let me see if members of the board have questions on this one. Mr. Utah, Mr. Ashcraft?
no, sir.
Mr. Benson? Mr. O'Keefe? Okay. Let's hear from the county on this one, too. Thank you, Mr. Utah.
You're welcome.
All right, what we got is a 62,312 square foot industrial flex building. It's divided up into different sections that can be leased. It's built in 1995. It's 24 feet high. It's not obsolescence involved in this property. Let's see if I can get it a bit better. Well, we have pictures in the packet as well, so. Okay. All right. The primary tenant is Collins Aerospace. They take up about a third of the building. In 2021, they did a significant renovation to that section. That's 20,000, a little over 20,000 square feet that they renovated. So this property, the reason that we don't have as high as a percentage on the depreciation is because it has been renovated. Let's see, go to. Oh, and before we get to that, I was going to talk to the land value. Yes, land is $70,000 to $75,000 an acre. We have sales that confirm that. That's what we're using for that area. I think currently, I think we're at about, I'll have to recount, 77,000. And so we have land sales that would easily justify that number. But if you look at page 42, there's documentation that there has been a renovation, interior renovation of the property. And further proof is on page 43. That was a picture from 2020, between 2020 and 2021, 12/18 of 20. No rooftop air conditioning, or very little, a couple of little units. Then on page 44, you see the result of the renovation. It has substantial more HVAC. They renovated the offices inside this portion of the building. And the only reason I know the square footage of what they have is on pages 45 and 46. And it's a listing that they have for lease. And they're showing that the 1/3 building leased renovated is 20,460 square feet, is what I was able to pull out from that information. We use Marshall & Swift, which is reporting from multiple builders and sources for construction cost and for depreciation. So the Marshall & Swift, everything's done accordingly, and that's why we have like 34% depreciation instead of 50. Originally, on this one parcel, it was, let's see, I believe it was $5,400,700, and I reduced down on this parcel to $5,275,700. So I've already given a reduction, tried to meet halfway, and we're just not to a point where we can come to an agreement. The other land is also in conjunction with it, and the other thin part is valued at the same way as the other portion because it's only split by a jurisdictional line. It's $159,600 for that. So that brings us a grand total of $5,435,300 for both pieces, and that's $87 a square foot. And really, the only argument that we really have today is the cost, because if we use the sales, and you look at the sales that we pulled, it will indicate a substantially higher amount, but we're okay to use the cost approach as our basis.
Good.
Okay. Questions, Mr. O'Keefe? Mr. Benson?
No question.
Yeah, Mr. Ashcraft? All right. Any final comments there, Mr. Hutaff, or we good?
I, again, would like to reiterate that and agree that the cost approach, our only difference is the fact that, I'm not speaking into the microphone, I'll go by memory, is we feel like it'd be more depreciation, and to address the renovations that were done, Collins Aerospace, who is across the street, that renovates aircraft parts, if you've ever visited the plant, they leased a portion of the half of the building for warehouse space because they ran out of warehouse space, and they then came back and improved about a third of that 2,000 square feet he was talking about in 21 to put an office. And he showed the pictures, I believe, on pages 40 and 43.
Yeah.
They, because they now have people in office space in there and some R&D, they added, it looks like 4 air conditioners, but all those upfits don't really benefit, in our opinion, or add value to the building. Those go particularly with Collins. I doubt they would remove those air conditioners, but they change the nature of the building by putting those air conditioners, because they do have some people over there working, doing some R&D, but the rest of the building is purely warehouse space. That Collins has now taken over the whole building. Then they decided they couldn't use the whole building, so they had to turn around and sublease the part that they're not using. And And you can't get into the building because they do government contracting, and the R&D is very secretive, so we really don't know what's going on in there.
Okay.
And so it's our proposition that they really haven't added any value. But going back, I appreciate and I agree that the value of the land out there is approximately what the county says of $77,000 per acre. And again, if you take the numbers by Marshall and Swift or whatever, the only change I made was because of the type of building and based on what SC Hondro said. We just took a different approach on the depreciation.
Appreciate it. Okay.
And there's not that big a difference. I know 400,000 is a lot of money to some people, but
Right. I got you. Thank you,
It's
Mr.
a lot to
Utah.
us.
Yeah. Understood. Any final comments, Joe? Mr. Hunter? We're good? Okay, Madam Clerk?
All right. So we are going to go back to hearing number 1, and it's going to be for parcel number 06.
So now we're in the deliberation phase?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm calling the remainder of the
Oh, excuse me, I
cases.
hit the wrong,
That's okay.
okay.
I did say go back, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to call
No, I had
hearing
the wrong
number 1.
page in front of me, sorry.
I'm going to go to hearing number 1 and call it, which is for property key number 06099334. The taxpayer is Mitchell and Catherine Winger. They are not present.
Okay.
there was another property we thought was in question.
Well, it's too late.
09369-006.
No,
That's not on the agenda for today. That I'm,
What did we settle for?
if you want to talk to Joe for, and let
yeah,
me
but you can
continue.
do it later.
Okay.
You can do it later. We gotta
I'm
move on with
calling.
our meeting.
Yeah.
You
That's
can-
okay.
You can deal with it.
Hearing number 5 is for property key number 08054008. The taxpayer is Judy and Gregory Braswell, who are not present.
Okay.
Hearing number 6, parcel number 081170004C, Malia Hagler, not present. Hearing 7, parcel number 08153018 for CSR Builder Trust Second, CSR Builder Trust First. They are not here today. That'll take us to hearing number 15, which is the staff recommendations that have been settled, which is your addendum A. And then hearing 16, which is the consent agenda with no agreement, which we can talk about those during deliberation. And you
Okay.
can vote on that then. So
Okay.
that brings us to the end of the agenda. If you guys want to continue with deliberations, we can start now, or you can take a 5-minute break.
What's the pleasure of the board? Everybody good? You need to take a
I'm
break?
good.
Good?
Keep going?
Good.
All
Going
right.
to the deliberation phase?
All right, so this will bring us into the deliberation phase, which takes us back to hearing number 1. 06099334, Mitchell and Catherine Winger.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board? This was someone that did not show up today.
Make a motion, we accept Canley's value on
Second.
the no
I
show.
have a motion from Mr. Ashcraft, a second from Mr. Benchin. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion is carried for the current value to remain at $881,500.
All right, hearing number 2 was for property key number 061170037. This was for taxpayer Susan Petcher, who was present today. And she did, for the record, change the original opinion of value today
Yeah,
to the 46.9.
correct.
Okay?
Mr. Chairman, on that one, I understand there was a lot involved, but I think they finally came down to the current value from the county side point of 74,700, which added into what the Charlotte Mecklenburg for the other side. I see that as being very, very, very good.
Yeah, yeah. And I just think you have to look at it as a whole, you know. And so I have a, is that in the form of a motion from Mr. Ashcraft for the current value to remain at 74.7?
Second.
Have a second from Mr. O'Keefe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion is carried for the value to remain at 74.7.
All right, that brings us to hearing number 3 for property key number 117073. This was for Scott and Erica Rao, who was present today.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board here?
Make a motion that we accept the county's evaluation.
Okay, so I have a motion for Mr. O'Keefe to accept the current value. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second for Mr. Ashcraft. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Only
Opposed, like sign?
discussion I had, Mr.
Oh.
Chairman, only discussion I had was that this is where the county kind of ripped it off and just kind of made it all equitable. Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
And all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried for the current value to remain at $58,400.
Hearing number 4 was for property key number 08051012. This was for Jared and Joy.
Jasek, I think.
There you go,
Yeah.
Jasek. I didn't want to say it wrong again.
I thought, no, I was impressed when you said it the first time. I said, she's heard that name before. Okay.
And they were present today.
Okay.
All right, is this the one with the 10 acres or whatever and couldn't get
In the-
access to it?
And the water plant,
Well,
No, that's,
is that?
This is the
that's what I'm
one that
trying to
has
figure
the
out.
treatment plant.
This is what-
this is not that one.
Behind it.
It has the treatment plant?
Behind
this is the one with the treatment plant
Right.
behind.
They've got access and they dug a road up in front of their house and
Got
Put
something,
in
yeah, they got paid for that.
all
The
that.
Power line too, they had a little power line.
on the, looked like the lower side
This
of the
was,
property.
I believe, the one with the modular home.
Yep.
Yep.
Which didn't matter.
Correct.
And they are on septic and well, and they didn't hook up because they're on septic and well, and they don't want to be a part of this.
Sounds like they couldn't hook up.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't that they didn't want to.
Oh, they
They
could.
couldn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
they
wanna get-
weren't
yeah.
included.
Yeah.
When they built the thing, they weren't included in it,
Okay.
so, Mrs.,
The only thing I had on here, I mean, with that wastewater treatment plant behind your property, I can't help to think that's not going to influence the market value of it somehow.
Well, that's why I asked the county at the time.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah, you did.
we do have
Yeah.
other ones, and it's been there for a couple of years, maybe. I don't know when it was there,
Yeah.
but that's what they say, it's been there.
Yeah.
So in the last couple of years, does that have a factor in the sale of property?
Yeah.
And
They hadn't seen it. I mean,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
well,
I thought they had good comps, I don't know. I mean, that's the reason why I brought it up.
Yeah.
from my perspective, hearing the case, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the opinion of the taxpayer. I think they had a case here today.
Okay. So you're putting it in the form of a motion
That was in my motion.
to
Accept the opinion of the
the
taxpayer.
taxpayer's opinion, the value of $495,000.
Right.
Okay. So I have that motion from Mr. Benson. Do I have a second? Do not have a second. Mr. O'Keefe, you studying over there? You,
May I ask a question without interrupting? I mean, this process, I'm not gonna, I want to, is there something other than that? I think that that what needs to be weighed in this assessment is the fact that, I think what is something that did change, certainly, is the fact that.
tell you what, let's maybe let's kill the motion. Yeah, right. And then we
Well,
can
if
come right back.
nobody seconds it, it's dead anyway.
Yeah,
Mr.
so it's
Chairman.
dead. Let's continue the discussion there. So the motion is dead. Let's continue the discussion. We may still get back there, but, okay.
And what I wanted to discuss maybe a little bit further is the impact of this water treatment plant behind them, which is land that I think, if I'm recalling correctly, was acquired after they had bought that
Right.
land, which takes the back end of their property and stops it, and could create something at some point down the road. It certainly, anybody who would be buying it would be weighing that in their decision. Then there's the overall use in the front of the house of that, which they've been compensated for with the water treatment plant. I wish there was a way we could somewhere land between where they are and where the county is in terms of land valuation.
Let me ask the county a question, if I may. Isn't there some type of influence that could be applied to this? I'm trying to think of the name of it, but have we?
I don't think so. I know the only other time we did that was topo.
Yeah,
Are you referring to the proximity to the freshwater
Right.
treatment plant?
Correct.
right.
We
There's
have-
nothing there.
That's what I was saying. It puts it hard because if you do it for their property, then let's just go down the road.
Yeah.
Just go circle around it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
until you
that's-
make a decision that, well, a mile's okay, so we'll just circle around a mile around whatever the plan is.
Correct.
So, I don't know how you do that.
I really wish we had from the taxpayer an appraisal that they had done that was by the effective date. So they had an appraisal, but it was
Yeah.
after 1/1/25.
And that's what I'm saying to you is, they haven't provided any information of how that affects, like we're trying to
Yeah,
do. See,
true.
we're trying to come up with a reason.
Yeah.
And we're giving this septic thing, well, you know, they need to come up and say, look,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
built one over here, look what the value's dropped, right?
Yes.
They have to provide that
It kind
information
of
for us.
gets
It's
back
ju-
into what we read every.
And all they do
before
is
every
just
meeting.
you know, well, they don't ramble, but they talk about the individual little differences on their property.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it, you know, that's what I said about the power line.
Yeah.
What do you do about power lines? They're all over the place.
I mean, if you're looking at numbers, Mr. Chairman, there's a $71,000 difference between the 495 and the 566. So, I mean, one could create a value, if you're talking about landing somewhere in between,
Correct?
you know, you could create a value if you wanted to half that 71,000 and just, you know,
It
did that.
makes, I think it compensates for the disruption that's been going on around them a little bit. And,
Okay.
and in terms of resale, things have changed, and I don't
Kelly,
want to.
you want to make a motion for like 545?
Well, I was just getting ready to add 35.5 plus the 495 is 535. 530 and 5. Would that be feasible?
Make a motion,
I'd like to make a motion that we value the property at $535,000.
close as you possibly can.
As close as you possibly can.
Okay.
535?
530, 500.
Oh, 530, excuse me, 530, 500.
So I have a motion from Mr. O'Keefe to reduce the value to 530,500.
I can work with that. I'll second it.
I have a second from Mr. Benchin. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried for that value to be reduced to 530,500. Okay?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right.
All right, that takes us to hearing number 5 for property key number 08054008. That was for Gregory and Judy Braswell, who were not present today.
Make a motion, we accept the county value.
So I
Mr.
have a
Chairman.
motion from Mr. Benchin to accept the county's value.
Second.
Second from Mr. O'Keefe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Let me do
Oh,
the, that's 630, 600, y'all know that?
Yeah.
So that's what it's going to be? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So the notice of value was 686, and then the current value, it looks like that they did drop, the county dropped their value down to 636. So that would be the final value.
Good deal. Thanks.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried for parcel number 08054008 to be retain its current value of 630,600.
All right, hearing number 6 was for property key number 0817004C for Malia Hagler, who was not present today.
So what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion, we accept the county's current value, which is 136,100.
Okay, so I have a motion for Mr. Benson, second for Mr. Ashcraft. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like signs. The motion is carried for the value to remain at 136,100.
All right, hearing number 7 for property key number 08153018 for the taxpayer CSR Builder Trust Second, CSR Builder Trust First, who was not present today.
Okay,
Make a motion, we accept the value of $1,061,100.
so I have a motion for Mr. Ashcraft for the value to remain at $1,061,100.
Second.
Second for Mr. Benson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like signs. So the motion's carried.
Hearing number 8 for property key number 082190002I. This was for Patricia and Jimmy Hatley.
Okay.
This is the 10 acres.
That's the 10 acres that he tried to put a, what, radio tower or something, cell
Yeah,
tower.
Yeah.
About a number of different things, yeah.
They tried several ventures to
We found out
create
that
income
They had a hard time getting septic, or, getting the land to perk, is that correct?
in the beginning,
In the beginning,
but it did.
Long time ago.
a long time ago.
I think one instance was like 40 years ago, and
40
another
years.
instance was about
20.
20 years ago. And
Well, the 20 years ago was when they tried to break it off for the son.
Yeah.
And to me, I thought the county had good comps on this stuff. I mean, and
I think so.
they were talking about being landlocked.
I know.
He had access.
Well, yeah, everybody's,
Yeah,
I'm
he had,
landlocked, because I'm not on the main road
Right.
either. I'm not
Yeah.
on the main road.
yeah,
I don't have a highway.
right,
Got to maintain the road.
yeah, yep, just like him. Okay. So what's the pleasure of the board here?
Make a motion that we accept the county's valuation of the property, $388,800.
I have a motion from Mr. O'Keefe.
Second.
Have a second from Mr. Ashcraft. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like signs. So the motion's carried for the value to remain at $388,800 for parcel 082190002I.
Hearing number 9 for property key number 07087707. This was for DCM and Associates, Inc., who is represented by Mr. Gray today.
Miss-
I thought this county did a fine job on it.
Yeah, I did too. I mean,
I thought they both did a fine job. This was a little battle here today, a little
Yeah.
Perry Mason and Aaron Burr.
yeah.
There you go. That's what it
And,
felt like.
It felt like.
Well,
But at
and
the end, I believe the county held his own today. I believe Mr. Hunter really barreled down and had his facts held strong today. So I make a motion that we accept the county's current value of $16,233,200.
Okay, so I have that motion from Mr. Benson.
Second.
I have a second from Mr. O'Keefe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried for that value to remain on parcel number 070870007 of $16,233,200.
All right, that took us to hearing number 10 for 07126264, which the owner was W.F. Harris Development LLC, represented by Mr. Hugh Taff.
Okay,
Joe did a good job.
yep. I mean, I just had a note here about the lease. We didn't have a copy of the lease. You kind of get the cost to cure thing if they had to do that, but I think we got by that. When you get into looking at the one that sold, it was like 2 doors down.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
They outfitted it and all that.
Yeah.
6. I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Anybody?
No.
Make a motion that we accept the county's valuation.
Okay, so I have a motion for Mr. O'Keefe,
Second.
second for Mr. Ashcraft. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried for the current value to remain on parcel number 07126-264 of $520,000.
All right, that took us to hearing number 11 for parcel number 07126265A. And it was discussed here today that they were actually going to go ahead and agree with the county's value today of $370,900.
I got 355,
The
300.
I had the 379, so do we need to?
Yeah, that's, the appraisal came at 370. I think that's what they said. I don't know. Joe's in charge of that one, Joe. What'd you come up with?
Notice.
Well, and maybe the appellate could speak, but we had lowered it a little bit because we had corrected the listing.
That's all I needed to
That the
know.
current is 355.3, he had an appraisal done on it for 370.
Make a motion, we accept the county's value of 355.3.
Second.
That's what they had on it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the,
Jimmy, did you make the second? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
so
One
the
second.
motion's carried for the current value to remain 355, 300. Right, 071262658. That's the tab number, okay?
All right. Hearing number 12 was for 07126269. That was also for W.F. Harris Development, represented today by Mr. Hutaff.
Which kind of mirrored
The other one,
10, yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we accept the county's current value of 472,500.
Second.
Have a motion from Mr. Ashcraft, a second from Mr. Benson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried for the value to remain at 472,500 for tab number 07126269.
Right, hearing number 14 was going to be for property key number 09369005J90.
Mr. Chairman, on this one, I have to admit, taxpayers' opinion value is $5 million, it looks like here, and then it says current value is $5,275,000, which the notice before that was $5,400,000. So I'd say they're pretty close, unless
Well,
you
and
just
I-
want to keep lowering.
No, and I think the biggest thing was just the depreciation schedule, and the county's got to be,
It's
they
pretty
treat all
close.
that the same, so I mean, we can't be, yeah. And, I kind of get where he's coming from, but,
I
okay.
mean, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, are you saying you good with the 5.2 or just the 5?
5,275 counties current.
So you're agreeing, holding fast with the county?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And I think, kind of getting back to what the taxpayers were saying, I mean, they're using a little bit of a different method or rate on the depreciation, whereas the county's got their method that they handle via that Marshall Swift and is,
So
trying to
you-
stay
Anyway,
equal
that's
and the
my
same.
motion.
Yeah.
That, I was gonna say, I'll second it then.
All right.
So I have a motion from Mr. Ashcraft, a second from Mr. Benson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So the motion's carried.
I didn't quite understand.
The motion is carried for the value to remain at $5,275,700 on tab 13.
Correct. I might have said J90, so I apologize, that was actually J80, but then J90 goes with this one as well, so that would be for hearing number 14. for the
Right.
Yep.
Same
Chairman.
owner.
Yeah, with the values, I think that we did, we probably just need to do a separate motion. Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah, okay. So,
So does that include that?
no,
No.
There are two
Separate
values.
All right.
There's two different values.
All
yeah,
right, so we need another motion on
Another-
that.
yeah, for
motion.
tab 14.
And the county's value is 159,600?
Yes,
That's motion.
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, so the value is to remain at 159.6 for tab 14.
Right, hearing number 15. That is going to take you to the staff recommendations, which is your addendum A. And this is going to be for the recommendations that have been discussed with the taxpayers and have been settled.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept addendum A,
Okay, so I have a motion from
staff
Mr.
recommendation addendum A.
Yeah,
Yep.
I have a motion from Mr.
Second.
Benson, second from Mr. O'Keefe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, so that motion's carried for tab 15.
That takes us to hearing number 16, which is going to be on your addendum B sheet. This is going to be the recommendations of value presented, but not agreed upon with the taxpayers.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
This is where the county has given a value and noticed them with a value, but did not hear back from them. They did not
Oh, okay,
want
so
to.
they sent them a new value or something?
That is
what
correct.
we're
They
talking
have been
about?
notified of the values. They just did not respond and request to appeal those values. So we're going to assume that
They
they're
accepted
approved
it.
the value, that they're accepting the value.
And you just want us to make a motion to accept the,
Consider journal.
all right, consent
Correct.
agenda. I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. So motion's carried for tab 16. Okay. We want a longer meeting, we had in a long time.
Yeah, we're going.
right. And that concludes the hearings for today, gentlemen.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So we're ready to adjourn?
Before we adjourn, our next meeting,
Oh, yeah.
Next Thursday?
And I might
Next
not be here Thursday,
Not this Thursday.
next Thursday.
That's too far away from me. I'll have to.
We'll confirm,
Yeah,
Yeah, I just.
but not next Monday. Good.
okay, okay,
I'll try my best.
okay. So with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
so move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion, second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, we are adjourned.
So this is the 4:30 meeting, right?
Yes, 4:30, Thursday at
But you're gonna send us an email.
I will. I will do that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's too far out there.